Oh, why are you?
We're good.
I just gotta see what she's doing.
All you have to do is hit play.
Play.
I will call the meeting to order at 6:49. And approval of meeting agenda. Before we do approval of the meeting agenda, under new business, Ann Reed is going to present a VLTC
BLCT.
event.
Yeah.
It's a training event, right?
Yeah.
Yes, a training event. Approval of minutes from April 24th of 25.
Okay, just before we do that, just for the record, we're starting the meeting
Late.
20 minutes late due to lack of quorum. We now have a quorum. So, and then I would like to note that new business that you talked about.
Yeah.
Is a change, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
And I'll second that with the change.
By Sherilyn.
Get you.
Stupid.
Sorry, I'm late. I got it. I got it.
And we're gonna wait a couple minutes.
I don't like using this chair.
You sure?
I'm positive.
No.
Got my office. Oh, this is nice.
He's been in the hot seat long enough.
That's right, that's right.
We were giving it to him before he came to.
Yeah.
Poor Chucky.
No, I
Best way.
No, did you
deserved
deserve it?
I did. Yeah. One of those things that when somebody tells you it's hot, don't touch it, and you touch it, you
You
get
do
burned.
anyways.
Yeah, it's your own fault.
Then you do it again.
Yeah, it's your own fault.
Sometimes you guys just don't.
We were hoping
Did on
this
this
to come.
I did on this one, trust me.
Not that we don't have faith in Ann and the Zoom.
Yeah, we figured you could use the Zoom,
Yeah.
to do the minutes.
Oh,
Right?
thanks. Yeah, that's so much fun. I've done that.
So, once you're ready, then we can
Okay,
tell you what
oh,
we've done.
was it? Did
Yeah,
it
we
start
started
at?
6:30.
6:30.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You walked in 3 minutes behind those two.
Oh,
You're good.
We're just barely getting started, so you didn't miss
We
anything.
didn't do anything yet.
It turned out 3 to 3. 3 thought it was at 6:30 and 3. I don't believe it.
you guys
Well, I
can't
figured I'd
do
saw
that.
it.
Just can't change things.
I know.
I'm still putting in a window at the house.
I've been going to regional.
Yeah, I knew you could go, but I wasn't sure about that. Right.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It'll come on.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't tell a short joke. I can't remember jokes.
Is there anybody on?
No.
Zoom? No? Why is it not opening up?
Do you want it?
Of course.
All right, my keyboard earlier wasn't working, so I picked it up and dropped it and then decided it was gonna
Then-
On
work.
this one?
No,
Oh.
on my
We
desktop.
gotta add that to the list.
That was on my desktop.
We called the meeting to order at 6:49.
Okay, it's not
Okay.
opened yet.
Okay.
Still open.
Sorry.
It's warming up.
We just got technical difficulties.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Wait, I got
Charlene, you know how we were having trouble with the Zoom?
Yeah.
While we were waiting, we were talking with Ann. She said, we gotta make sure we click on a new meeting and hit play to start Zoom. Were we doing that? Hitting play down in the bottom? We
You
had to
hit
open that
pause,
file
and
up.
then you have to hit play.
No, because I was looking for a meeting that had already been created.
Oh, no, I don't do that. I just always hit new meeting
Oh, you do?
because
Oh,
it's always logged into the
So you
same
don't do
account.
recurring meetings?
No.
Oh,
So we gotta remember to hit new meeting. I've got it
Ah.
written down.
okay, well, that's.
Think you can remember it? Yeah.
Well, my
tomorrow.
phone number's right there. If you ever get stuck, just call me. That goes to my cell phone, even though it's a
Well, I wasn't
landline.
about to call
Yeah, I
you
was just
what
gonna
you
say,
were going
yeah,
for.
we were gonna call you.
No,
I was home crying.
You said 6:49?
Yep.
6:49.
And
yeah, even though Logan said it was 6:50. Kevin's gotta be-
They're gonna wrestle that out later.
anybody make a motion for the agenda?
Yeah.
We made a change.
And we made one change.
Okay.
Under new business.
Okay,
Ann is going to present a VLTC event.
VLCT.
What is it?
VLCT.
You got the key in the seat.
Oh, yeah.
oh, I had it
It's
VLCT.
ELCT, not TC.
I was close.
Okay, not Tomcat, Cat Tom. You got
I was
that?
close.
All right.
So who made the motion?
I did.
Rick,
We don't have a second yet.
I seconded it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Kevin's waiting to hold the vote, I guess, because we needed it. We're all
Accept
set.
the agenda with the change.
Change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All those in favor?
All those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes from April 24th of 25 meeting. Did everybody read them?
Mhm.
Can I, yeah. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Public comments, there's no public unless anybody. It's on Zoom.
Well, we should recognize Nancy as a public.
Yeah, I'm just public, that's all.
Okay, so we got Nancy here.
All right, Nancy's public.
Nancy last
Okay.
name.
Goodrow. Gaudreau, Nancy?
Goodrow. You got it.
You're gonna regret saying that.
You good?
He's good.
Okay, next one is old business, work on the zoning with Logan. Solomon.
Subdivisions, yep.
Yeah, and so, the last meeting, we had started working on, revising, subdivision language from the town of Brandon and modifying it to fit, Pittsford. And if I understand correctly, we had got up through, and in this document, the section numbers start at section 700, which is one of these things will change. But essentially, we went through sections 700 to 707 at the April 24th Planning Commission meeting. And then I had sent the document out with those changes and track changes so that you can see cross throughs and additions and things like that. And I think the intent was tonight was to finish up the remaining section. I think there's section 708 to section 712.
Yep.
So I guess the first section would be section 708. Which on my document is right at the end of page 7 and then really mostly in page 8. How we had done this, do you have a
Just
copy?
had different pages.
Oh, okay,
I was on the 708 for me starts on page 6. Copy I had.
And mine starts on 7, page 7.
Do you have the one that's redlined, Rob?
It's red lines.
I don't.
Oh,
have
that's
that.
the.
I didn't
that's
have
the
that
new
one.
one or the one he
I
sent?
don't either.
I'll get it when it's
Yeah,
final,
I have
when
one
he
that-
finally does the
that's
final
sent
one,
down.
I figured.
Okay.
Cause I can always make.
So I
I
guess-
would like a red line copy because mine's out.
As long as we're on the same section.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, as long as we're on the same section, and then when you get them all done, we'll make a
Yeah.
copy of that and look at
Yeah.
that again.
And then you're just gonna go through each one?
Yeah, and so we can, how we did it before is I kind of just read through it and then we kind of just discussed any sections. So we'll just do that again. So section 708 plot recording requirements applies to all approved subdivisions in accordance with 24 VSA 4463B. Within 180 days of the date of receipt of final plan approval, the applicant shall file one copy of the final subdivision plot with the town for recording. Approved plots not filed and recorded within the 180-day period shall expire. The zoning administrator shall have the power to extend the date of filing the plot for an additional 90 days if final local or state approvals are still pending. Subsection B, after an approved plot or certificate is filed with the town clerk, no expiration of that approval or certification shall be applicable. Prior to recording a plot that shows a new street or highway, the plot must be signed and dated by the, and it says Development Review Board, and that would say Planning Commission. Chair or vice chair. Is there a vice chair of the Planning Commission?
Yes.
Okay, great. If the approval was granted by said board, I might just say said commission. Or by the zoning administrator, if the approval was granted in accordance with section 701B1, and that is the section that allows for administrative approvals by the zoning administrator. All final plots must include a notion to include the following statement, quote, "The subdivision depicted on this plot was duly approved by the Pittsburgh Planning Commission, replacing Brandon Development Review Board, or the Pittsburgh Zoning Administrator." And correct me if I'm wrong, is the proper title zoning administrator or is it?
It's administrative,
Okay, yeah,
but, I guess this is a question for Rick, because he serves on both the ZBA, maybe the future DRB, and the, planning commission. The way the zoning is set up now, planning commissions approve site plans, and it's going to be subdivisions here with this new language.
Mhm.
Some towns defer, that have gone to using, giving the authority to review subdivisions to the development review / CBAs. What's the town's preference here? I don't care either way, but I just, it's a point of clarification, I guess. Most towns, when they have subdivision regulations, it goes to the DRB.
which there is, yeah, and I think this is something we had at the last meeting was discussed, that it could be the planning commission or the zoning board of adjustment. I think if I understand correctly, the take from the folks in that meeting was that since the planning commission is working on this document, that they were interested, totally correct me if I'm wrong, of, you know, being that body that would be a part of implementing it. But Jeff is correct, it could be the zoning board of adjustment. And if the town wanted to, they could make a development review board. That's
My only comment on it is I wouldn't want to see where there was ambiguity because one board had decided before the other board, so we're still gonna have zoning. And if currently, if the zoning board has a conditional use before it, then it does the site plan approval. Typically, the planning commission does site plan approval, the way our zonings are. Any use other than a single family or two family requires site plan review.
That's how it's been practiced most recently.
I'm explaining that to him, Jeff. Excuse me, okay? Can you just wait till I'm finished? You asked me if I could talk about being on both, and that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, thank you. So Logan, my question is, and I thought we asked before, was could the zoning board do this? Would it be within their purview?
The zoning board, it can be written to allow the zoning board to do it, or it can be written to allow the planning commission to do it. Typically, there's one body that's expressly stated. But I think I know what provisions you're referring to, where it says like, when you look at the conditional use section, it gives a subset of like that they can go and implement site plan review, and then it points to the site plan review section.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, ultimately it would be picking one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And my past experience on the zoning board, or I mean, on the planning commission, we have a lot to do. Like, look where we're at right now. The redoing plans, redoing these regulations, the town plans and so forth. It's gonna go to the zoning board for a zoning permit anyways, if it's conditional use. I think it's better served to go to the zoning board. That's my take on it, because they're gonna have to get a zoning permit anyways. Yeah. And that's typically the way we've done it.
Yeah, and so I'm able to change basically what would be changing is just changing planning commission, and it would say zoning board of
Right.
adjustment.
Okay,
And just so I'm hearing everyone clearly,
Yeah.
do we want to make that change?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. If they gotta go there anyhow.
Great.
That makes.
So I won't go and, change all those right now, but I made a note to make sure that when I send the next copy, that'll be reflected anywhere that it says planning commission, it'll say zoning board of adjustment, or anywhere it says development review board in this draft, it would also say zoning board of adjustment.
okay, so go to ZBA then, just for short.
Okay, you guys use that acronym?
Yes.
Some towns
Yeah.
do, some don't. Okay.
We do.
Okay,
That makes sense.
sounds good. So, yeah, so the The subdivision, I'm gonna reread the statement. The subdivision depicted on this plot was duly approved by the Pittsford Zoning Board of Adjustment or the Pittsford Zoning Administrator in accordance with the Pittsford zoning regulations and all other applicable laws and regulations. And so I'm just striking these terms. Subsection D, the zoning board of adjustment may, as a condition, the zoning board of adjustment may, as a condition of final plot approval, require that other notations pertaining to conditions of subdivision approval also be included on the final plot. Section 709, compliance with subdivision approval. In establishing conditions of subdivision approval, the zoning board of adjustment may provide for a phased schedule of completion of improvements. The zoning administrator may rely on any information contained in the zoning permit application regarding the location of parcel boundaries. In the event that there is a discrepancy between the information provided by the applicant and the true facts, the town does not waive future enforcement authority with the issuance of a zoning permit. Subsection B, to assist the zoning administrator in determining whether public or private improvements have been met, the zoning board of adjustment shall as a condition of subdivision approval, require the submission of as-built drawings signed and stamped by a surveyor or engineer licensed by the state of Vermont, which shall indicate by dimensions, angles, and distances the location of all utilities, structures, roadways, easements, landscaping, and other improvements as installed. The same requirement shall also apply to subdivision applications approved by the zoning administrator and exercising his authority under section 710 below. The zoning administrator shall rely upon any information submitted as part of the applicant's application for subdivision approval to determine whether the as-built drawings conform to the approved plot and all associated conditions. In the event of any discrepancies between the approved subdivision and the as-built drawings, the zoning administrator shall be entitled to initiate enforcement action pursuant to, and we'd want the section of the zoning that relates to enforcement action. I have the zoning in front of me, so I could find that really quick. Enforcement action would be, let's see, Article XVI, violations and enforcement. So I'm gonna change it to Article XVI of the Pittsford zoning regulations.
What did BLU stand for? Brandon something, Brandon?
Brandon
Lane?
Land Use Ordinance. It's a,
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
I had the same thing. I was wondering, well, what is
It's
that?
branded land use ordinance and its nickname is Blue Oak.
yeah, yeah, one of the things when they updated it, one of the things when they updated it, we changed all the branded land use ordinance that actual acronym, because it,
That's
it's, you don't have to spell out 4
Right,
words.
right.
It's 4 letters. So yeah, if you see that anywhere, it's just the zoning regulation.
Do you still do zoning in Brandon, Jeff?
No.
Do you still do zoning in Brandon? Oh, I didn't know that.
Hold these closer.
Okay,
Subsection C, when the applicant has indicated that he intends to,
well,
yep, I was just
I
about
think you
to.
got a pronoun thing with.
Yeah, I
he.
was just about to say that too.
There's a
Good
few
catch.
places in
Yeah.
this document that
Yeah.
there's he's.
So what are we putting in? They?
When they, yeah.
Typically,
And so I'll make another note that I'll make sure that any he or she is changed to they or
Absolutely.
I would say I'm gonna change it either to they, or there might be some cases where I just say the officials, like the zoning administrator or the applicant.
applicant,
Or,
yeah,
yeah,
right.
so then there's no ambiguity. on,
but we're
like,
not
who
gonna
is
have the
they.
word he.
Yep, exactly,
Okay.
yep. When the applicant has indicated that they intend, not intend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drop the F.
intend to request that the streets, sewers, or water lines be taken over by the town. There's no fire district, right?
No,
Yeah, so striking the word fire district, taken over by the town. The Development Review Board, which will be
ZBA.
zoning board, actually, yeah, right, we're using the acronym. The ZBA shall require as a condition of final subdivision plan approval that the applicant provide the zoning administrator with certification from the project's supervising engineers that construction has been completed in full compliance with the approved plan and plot. Until such certification has been received, no zoning permits may be issued for any future development within the subdivision. The receipt of such certification shall in no way obligate the town, striking the fire district, the mention of the fire district. The receipt of such certification shall in no way obligate the town to take over the completed road, sewer, and or water line. Subsection D, the zoning administrator may make periodic inspections of the development during construction to a certain,
Ascertain.
ascertain, thank you, oh my gosh. Ascertain whether the project is in full compliance with the approved plan and plot. The zoning administrator shall have the right and authority to require an independent review of the project on the town's behalf, the cost of which is to be borne by the developer.
I was wondering about that.
Me too.
That's a lot of power for, that would be Jeff, who might identify something that he doesn't like. And because of that, he can force the applicant to pay for a whole independent review. I just wonder if we want to have the planning commission or whatever it is, zoning, be able to do the final approval on that as well, or have Jeff can certainly point it out and bring it to them. But I just don't know if it's just one person's judgment, I don't like. It's like separation of powers, checks and balances. I think you should have another reviewer of that particular decision.
Agreed.
So with maybe adding, before, at the beginning of that sentence, provided approval from the ZBA or.
Yeah.
Yeah, some way of, yeah.
Yep.
How about upon referral by the zoning administrator to the ZBA?
Yeah, I think that would work as well, because then you're basically
I
saying
mean,
that
if
you're,
if I've got to go out and inspect these jobs, then, and I see something wrong, the easiest thing to do is go to the foreman and say, this is not, you gonna fix it or not.
You don't have to, you may.
Yeah, right. And you're probably, that'll be the case, most jobs. They're either gonna be so simple that it doesn't require much inspection, or they're gonna be so complicated that it's gonna take an engineer with instrumentation to conform to the.
From the,
sure that it's conforming, so.
for the planning commission's information, on the 40 years that I've been on the zoning board, I haven't had an issue. Pretty good communication. And I also agree with you that we should do it. I think it could go the other way too, that the zoning administrator may not know, but could be favorably on saying something to encourage someone that's not,
You just don't know.
right, you don't know.
It's good to have that.
That's what, yeah.
so how I wrote it, upon referral from the zoning administrator to the ZBA. The zoning administrator shall have the right and authority to require an independent review of the project on the town's behalf, the cost of which is to be borne by the developer.
I don't know, because all you changed about that is if the zoning administrator refers it, he still has this power to do it all by himself.
That's a good point.
I think another
Yeah.
body should approve of the decision.
So you're gonna catch every little change in project, what'll happen in the reality of things. And is that if someone comes to me in real life case, and they wanna have a minor change in the plan. They wanna add window shutters as opposed to just having bare windows. then it's gonna
Jeff, that's getting ridiculous.
Well,
That's
my
just the
point
reason
being
that
is
we
you're
don't
not
want to
making
do
the
this.
distinction.
Yeah.
It's-
I think we need to move forward. I think we've made our decision. I think.
Yeah.
We should keep going. We don't get bogged down.
Just to clarify, what you all are saying, are you saying that it'd be upon referral from the zoning administrator to the ZBA shall have the right and authority to require an independent review of the project on the town's behalf, the
Yeah,
cost of which.
because then,
Yep.
then it would have to first be referred. So Jeff would see something wrong, and then he would bring it up as an agenda item, and it
To the
doesn't need to take
ZBA.
long.
Yeah, and they could discuss it and then make a decision whether they want to pursue it with it or not.
Whether they want to make the applicant
That's
pay for a whole independent
I agree,
review.
I agree.
I don't think it'll.
That we have a board making the decision.
Yes.
But Jeff,
Okay, so it goes to you get a referral from the zoning administrator. It is gonna take you 15 days, 20 days to warn a hearing. If you can get the board together and then,
That's part of the process, Jeff. It's been that way for 40 years.
so you're not taking.
Can you, do you have any evidence whatsoever to support your claim? Can you give us an?
I've had cases where the projects are ongoing, they come to the zoning.
Yeah, you're
administrator.
just using them in general. I'm saying that I haven't seen the issues. I haven't seen it before for the.
I'm not saying it's
commission's
gonna be very
decision.
common. So let me answer your question. So the problem is, as I see it, is that these people are on schedule, they got crews, they wanna make a change the next day, 2 days. The zoning process is gonna hold them up for weeks.
We're not talking about someone that wants to make a change. We're talking about, we're trying to change the sentence that says the zoning administrator shall have the right and authority to require an independent review. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a
We're talking
situation where
about-
you see something wrong and you're gonna make the applicant pay for a whole independent review. We're not talking about a little change that needs to happen.
All right, I'm just thinking about time and money on both sides. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, man, I'm just gonna read it one more time, just so that I'm hearing everybody correctly. Upon referral from the zoning administrator to the ZBA shall have the right and authority to require an independent review of the project on the town's behalf. The cost of which is to be borne by the developer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for Jeff. Has that ever happened where you had to require an independent review?
Not in Brandon, which is the only town that has. that.
Pittsburgh.
Well, no, Pittsburgh, just Pittsburgh.
The answer to my question is that the only town that I'm familiar with that has this kind of language is Brandon, which you're using as a template. And we have not had to use it in Brandon during the 6 years I was
Okay.
there. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Exactly. It's not for every little change.
Well, I don't argue, it's not, hopefully it never becomes a common thing.
Yeah, the intention really, it's in this subsection, section 709, compliance with subdivision approval, so I think it's more around. If there was some reason that it's already been approved and then they're starting to do it and there's some suspicion that things aren't right, that you could require. And yeah, that's a specific circumstance.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have another question that's related, and it doesn't need to be answered until the end of this question and answer period, but are all the requirements for like mapping on site plans, the infrastructure and the power lines and the sidewalks and so on? Is there a provision in language that it can be waived? I'm thinking simple subdivisions that have power lines that don't need to be mapped. Or.
We aren't at that point though yet, right? Isn't that a little bit later in the document?
First part of the
So,
document.
yeah, so there's section 705, which we reviewed, which is the one that had this whole subdivision application content. So that was where we were talking about like,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah, so one of those, the beginning of that section says unless waived by, it should be the zoning board of of adjustment, the ZBA. Yeah, unless waived by the ZBA in accordance with section 701C, it essentially gives an option to waive, and then it
Right.
also says that waiver request can be made in writing, which is optional to the applicant.
But we spoke of that at the previous meeting.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Because I
yes.
brought it up about the planning commission, the zoning board or the planning commission may waive some of the site plan requirements. Okay, yeah. We have no retreat left.
Now we're on section 710. Revisions to an approved subdivision plot by administrative procedures, subsection A. The zoning administrator shall have the authority to approve minor modifications to an approved plot if they, not he. If they find, not finds, they find that the modification requested, or maybe it is finds.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, finds, that's right. Finds that the modification requested arise from land characteristics unknown or unanticipated at the time that final approval was granted. Two, that such modifications are otherwise consistent with the objectives of the zoning board, yep, exactly, ZBA. Embedded in the permit. And three, the modification will not have a substantial impact on either the use or design of the property as approved using the design criteria specific, in section 711. And then this says, or the performance standards specified in Article VI, you don't have performance standard.
And I don't believe we have design criteria either.
No, you do that.
Yeah, and the design criteria that they're referring to is the next section, section 711 design standards.
Right.
So I would
Wait,
replace that word with design standards, probably. You know, since it's referring to that section underneath it. And all the numbering here, when it's like referencing, you know, 711 within this doc, like all this would need to be renumbered, and that's something I'll do. You know, to reflect that this is an appendix.
but is there any specific, we don't have design criteria. Is there any specific criteria? Did I miss it in Brandon's plan here?
It's right here.
Yeah,
It's the
I know,
next
but,
thing.
okay,
Section 11, or yeah, 711.
That's what we're going
underneath
over
this
next.
section is what
Okay.
they're referring
Yep.
to.
I just don't remember it being termed as design criteria.
Yeah, they use,
Design standards,
yeah,
yeah.
and so I'll replace it to design standards, so there's no question of what we're talking about. So yeah, it'll say, as approved using the design standards. Specific in section 711. Period. When the zoning administrator exercises this authority, they, not he again. They shall transmit a copy of
There.
and I might even say the ZA's approval, since there's like a couple things going on in the sentence.
CA or ZBA? ZA is zoning administrator.
Yeah, zoning
ZA.
administrator.
Okay, you're gonna
yeah.
go ZA, all right.
Yeah, and
Just
I can-
making- I haven't
you
heard
use
you
that?
use that term tonight.
Yes,
so-
we use ZA.
Yeah,
Okay.
you use ZA as well. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to start introducing acronyms that don't show up anywhere else.
No, they'll do.
When the zoning, I'm gonna reread the sentence. When the zoning administrator exercises this authority, they shall transmit a copy of the ZA's approval and such findings and conclusions as they may have made to the ZBA, letters going on here, and to all adjoining landowners. And a copy of the approved modification shall be posted and distributed as required in, and this is another section in the Brandon Land Use Ordinance, which they're referencing public hearing, public notice requirements, which is section 1701 in Pittsford's zoning.
Okay.
So I'm gonna change that to section 1701. And I'll say as in these regulations.
What one are we on now? I wanna make sure I got this in. the-
Yep, yeah, so I'm reading the last
The
sentence.
last sentence, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so it's that
So
last
we'll go
section.
the 106 comes out and section 1701 goes in, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yep. Subsection B, if the zoning administrator determines that the requested revisions are beyond their authority to approve, no changes, modifications, or other revisions to an approved plot or conditions attached to an approved subdivision plan shall be made unless the proposed revisions are first resubmitted to the ZBA and approved by the ZBA after public hearing. In the event that such subsection C, in the event that such subdivision plan revisions are recorded without complying with the requirements of this section, the revisions shall be considered null and void. Section 711, design standards. Subsection A, the subdivision shall be in full compliance with all relevant district specifications for use, setbacks, performance standards, and other criteria, and I might add in these regulations at the end of that sentence. Just to clarify what we're talking about.
So you're talking the Pittsford zoning regulation.
Yeah, actually, let's even be more specific in the Pittsford zoning regulation.
And I think I put it on my one that you were working before. Pittsford zoning,
You could abbreviate that.
PZR.
PZR.
I would leave that up to you all to decide if you want, that's something we,
Probably not.
yeah, that's something that's, yeah.
Abbreviations.
Too many acronyms.
Yeah, too many acronyms.
ZA and ZBA are great. ZR is gonna lose even me.
Like what the hell's the blue?
Oh, I know.
They.
BLUO.
What are they talking about?
I knew it was Brandon Lamb, I didn't.
Yeah. Subsection B, if a if a developer intends to cluster the structures within the subdivision, the ZBA, not Development Review Board, may approve up to 125% of the number, and this is something we can discuss, whether this makes sense
Yes.
for Pittsford. May approve up to 125% of the number of dwelling units that could be permitted on the parcel if the land were to be subdivided in lots in strict conformance with Article 3 of the Pittsford zoning regulations.
But it's not gonna be Article 3.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
It would be-
question, the 125%,
Mhm.
what is that out of?
So what they're saying, you know what, and you guys don't have a. Yeah, and that, yeah, because so in Brandon's case, they have a dimensional standard of maximum dwelling units per acre of like, or a maximum density. And so they have a number that they can just easily 125%. This is not something that's required to have in subdivision regulations. So maybe this doesn't make sense, or maybe there's some sort of like, instead of the density, it could be the reduce setbacks or other things like that, or maybe not reduce setbacks, but maybe lot sizes might. be-
Lot size, we have a
Yeah,
percentage of how much can be developed on a lot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like impervious surfaces or,
Yeah,
like building footprint. and
It's under the
private-
table of uses.
Yeah.
If you go there, Logan.
Yeah, and so you could,
Well, it's actually after the table of uses.
Yeah,
It's
but at the
Article-
starting of it,
yeah. Right, yeah, that's Article IV, yeah. Yeah.
so
Right,
Article
yeah.
4, right?
Maximum lot coverage, yep. So you want to replace that with maximum lot coverage?
Yes,
Okay.
well, I do, I'm
Yeah.
thinking that makes the most
Yeah.
sense, that's what the zoning board's
Yeah.
familiar with.
It
Yeah.
didn't make any sense to me, 125%,
No.
so.
But that's because it's Brandon. They have a density. The way they do it. So how much can be.
Okay.
I've been there.
If I don't understand it, then.
No, I think you got it, I think you're getting it. It's not, it's,
Well, you have a lot, Pittsford has a lot density, it's section 1110. It's time to look at that again.
Limitations.
One principal building shall be placed on a lot.
Yeah, and that is a limitation.
It
Yeah,
does
but
not
it's not
say-
a maximum dwelling unit per
It
acre.
doesn't say
Yeah,
dwelling building. It says
Exactly,
one
yeah.
principal building, so
Yeah.
if the principal building is a barn,
yeah,
then the house becomes typically a secondary building, and you can put a house, but. If you can't put two houses on a lot under this regulation, on the same lot, we have to create separate lots, is what it suggests.
but that may change, that will change because of the state of a 181,
My
so.
point is
I just think that right now, just for everybody's, the people in this town that have gotta. Look at this zoning to see what they've got to be able to understand it too. That's the hard part. But the citizenry, most of the time when they come in here. And I hate seeing that. I hate seeing them get ambushed when they get into the zoning board. Well,
by the time they come to the zoning board, they've gotten an education on the rules from the zoning.
you know, Jeff, I disagree with you. There's been several times when you didn't take action and they were coming to the zoning board and asking what was going on, so. That is true. One of them's sitting right here at the other end of that table. So if you wanna bring that into it, I don't. That's another discussion.
I'm gonna reread subsection B with the changes that were mentioned, and so I'm just gonna reread it with all these changes. If a developer intends to cluster the structures within the subdivision, the ZBA may approve up to 125% of the maximum lot coverage that could be permitted on the parcel if the land were to be subdivided into lots in strict conformance with, I think you said Article 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of the Pittsford zoning regulations in determining the allowable maximum lot coverage of a proposed subdivision,
But Logan, my
the-
question
yeah,
is
the
for you.
acreage, yeah.
Yes, the acreage,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
when
I
you
just wanted
look
to
at
say
it,
that, Yeah,
it's the minimum lot size, the maximum lot coverage.
Yeah.
And then the whole table is in here. Do you guys have it in front of you? The zoning?
Yeah, what section?
It's on page 16.
There. I've got extra copies right down the hall.
You need one, Kevin?
No, I got one. I think I have two.
Rick, were you suggesting adding in addition to maximum lot coverage, minimum lot size, or just?
It's up to the
Yeah,
board. I
okay.
just like, right now, this is what we have. This
Yeah,
is what the
yeah.
board's working with.
Right,
I think referring it to this right now covers our would be our standard zoning, except for the fact of where there's town water and town sewer. You've got to be able to allow up to a minimum of 5 lots.
yeah, it's that specific density that's allowed, yeah,
Yeah,
and.
so I don't know where that's gonna come in. I've been waiting to see, just riding along here to see where we're at.
Yeah, and there's a couple ways that can be done, some simpler than others, I guess would be the way to put it. And so I could tell, like the simplest way is that you could add a separate section that just says exactly that, dimensional standards would need to be waived to allow for that density. There are other ways where you could go and institute new standards and, there are other or new districts and all, there are more complicated ways.
Well, seeing how it's such pretty much a small area at this
Yeah.
point, I think it would just Makes-
Section.
just
Yeah.
a new section
Yeah.
and
That would be my suggestion, just for simplicity's sake and clarity's sake, and then there's no debate of, oh, do we or do we not meet it? It's like, no, we're just stating the law as fact and like taking the statutory language and just inserting it in the zoning.
Yeah.
As a new section, and then one of those things where you would point to that subsection in the lot sizes, setbacks, yards, article. Like you already have with some of these asterisks.
right.
Okay, so.
Because there was an original intent to zoning,
Yeah.
to prevent the overcrowding of land
Mhm.
and unsanitary conditions, unsafe conditions where improper fire access is people built, so we didn't have the Chicago fires again.
Yeah, it's the basic public health and safety intention.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and too many people in one
Mhm.
area can be. Land disputes occur all the time.
Are we still developing the wordage of section B?
Yeah, and
11B?
I think one thing was whether it should be maximum lot coverage is the only term or maximum lot coverage and minimum lot size.
I think that makes sense. You
Yeah,
wanna
it's
have
cool.
both of them in there. Max and minimum lot size. You've gotta have something to work from. Gotta have a basis. This is what we go by when we have a hearing.
The one thing I'm thinking of is 125% would mean for the maximum lot coverage, that means the percentage would increase, but for the minimum lot size, that means that the lot size would increase. Do you see what I'm saying? So like if the minimum lot size is 1 acre, then it would be 125% would be 1.25 acres. So it'd be doing the versus maximum lot coverage.
I think we
It's
should
a
keep.
maximum versus a minimum. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think we should
Yeah.
keep the lot size the same. If you wanna increase how much you can put on it, maybe increase the amount of square footage you can put there.
Yeah, and then that would be lot coverage.
Right.
Yeah,
But it would allow for a
Right.
little bit more.
So only lot coverage.
so only lot coverage.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Sounds good. So yeah, the number, so only maximum lot coverage. Subsection C, unless otherwise determined by the ZBA, the design of streets and roads, gutter, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks shall conform to the standards incorporated in A 76 standards for development roads and B 71 standards for residential and commercial drives.
Can I just pause there?
Yeah.
Are those state standards, those Brandon standards? I'm not familiar with that term.
Standards,
They're what?
P-Trans standards.
So they're state standards.
So they're state
Yeah.
standards.
Okay.
Okay, so can we, but can we put the word
Yeah.
A 76 state standards? Just so we know that is,
Or
That
just
would make total sense.
incorporated in Vermont state road
Put
standards.
76 standards.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna add the word Vermont in front of
Okay.
A 76 and then the word Vermont in front of B 71.
It's more clear.
Yeah. Great. Subsection D, adequate water storage or distribution facilities for fire protection within the subdivision shall be provided in accordance with standards established by the National Fire Protection Association. Subsection E, fire hydrants serviced by the public water system or dry hydrants installed in a pond or stream shall be installed by the applicant to meet the following requirements. Subsection 1, fire hydrants serviced by the public water system must meet the requirements contained in the Environmental Protection Rules, Chapter 21, Water Supply Rule, Part 8, promulgated by the Vermont Agency of Natural Resources, Department of Environmental Conservation. Subsection 2, dry hydrants installed in ponds and streams must meet the requirements established by the Pittsford Fire Department. Emergency or subsection F, sorry. Emergency access for fire, police, ambulance, or other services and fire protection facilities must meet the fire lane standards established by the National Fire Protection Association. Compliance with section 711C, which that is the section that talks about the Vermont state standards relating to curbs and roads and all that. Compliance with section 711C above shall normally be considered as providing adequate access for municipal and emergency vehicles. So if you meet the state standards, then you're good.
So 711C is a Vermont state standard?
No, it's
It's just
the,
what we
it's the
did.
one where we just did right up above it.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay. It's a good question, though. Subsection G, all utilities existing and proposed throughout the subdivision shall be shown on the final plot and be located as follows. 1, while it is desirable that all utility systems, which may include but not be limited to electric, gas, telephone, fiber optics, and television cable, shall be located underground throughout the subdivision. They may be installed so that they are consistent with the area in which development is located and meet the objectives of the type of development being proposed.
I got a question on that.
Yeah.
Can we regulate utility?
That's.
You can on a subdivision. The town can mandate how they want it
I
done.
gotta look in our zoning, because we gotta think that we can't, this is a section where we can't regulate public utilities, that's done by the fuck. So.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about for like energy, yeah, like
Well, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
like in an instance of a solar farm, when they
Yeah,
put the
yeah.
solar in, I
yeah,
know the one
So-
that's down by me on Route
Mhm.
3, all the wires are coming
yeah.
from the panels up through the meadow
So
to the main.
anything that has to go through the state permitting, section 248, that is exempt from zoning
That's my point,
and subdivision.
but it's not
and land-
saying that in here. It does in our zoning as far as public utility
Mhm.
generation, I can't cite it right now, but my question is. I have both, boy, that conduit is really expensive now. I don't know if that's if you're really trying to do affordable housing, as we get further into this, I just
Well,
see
what-
more. and
But
more
everybody's
cost.
finding, I mean, even Green
Yeah.
Mountain Power is finding that you're better off to go underground.
Yeah,
they'll do
I don't
more
I don't disagree
overhead.
with that, Chuck, I don't disagree with
But
that,
When we
all
did
this says, Rick,
Springwood,
is it's preferable,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean.
but I thought it said shall.
It does
No.
shall be located.
It
Yeah,
says
but
while it is desirable
it's written in a kind of wonky way.
It says shall, but
Yeah,
it's not.
that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, I feel like,
Well, let's clear it up so we
Yeah.
both know, you know. so-
Should be,
Cause like I said, I have it underground, I don't have a problem with it, but I just know that stuff is very, very expensive.
so should
It's
it
all,
say?
it's all expensive
It
today.
just
though.
says
I mean, when
what
we
is
did
desirable.
Springwood Acres, we
Yeah.
went underground.
That's all. it
When we
says.
developed that, when we
Yeah,
did that
well-
development, we went
So-
underground.
As I'm reading it, it says shall.
But it says, while it is desirable that all utility
Shall.
systems shall be located underground throughout the subdivision, and they may be installed so that they are consistent with the area in which the development is
It's fine the way
located.
it is.
So I think it's fine the way
Okay.
it is.
I'll just,
Cause ideally, yeah, it'd be underground, right? But it's not realistic all the time.
yeah, really what they're saying is we encourage you to put it underground, but you know, as long as it's you know, located and meets the objectives of the development, you're fine.
Yep.
But yeah, the like shall language makes you think like,
Yeah,
oh, you have to put it underground.
to make
Um,
it clearer for people to read,
Yeah.
should it say should instead of shall?
I don't think so.
No,
No,
because it starts, that sentence starts, Kevin,
Yeah.
while saying like, while it is desirable,
Right.
this shall happen. It might not happen.
it doesn't say shall though, that all utilities, it says while it is desirable, that all utility. And then we go into, you know, my first interpretation of it when I read it is that they shall be located underground. I'm just trying to think from an affordable perspective. But, you know, like when your electricity, if you've got your electricity underground, when you have a problem
Well,
with it,
that's not what it says. It's confusing. But
Yeah,
that's not.
but given rise for, can we clear it up? That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Kevin's a good example, Rob, he's having an issue with it.
yeah, and I could come back and if you want, maybe, and just rephrase
Yeah,
this. so
shall
it'd
to
be-
should, actually,
and
would
that
be the
would
perfect
cure
solution.
it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like that.
no more shall.
Cause when the power gets ripped off your house and it's above ground, you got these guys like Chucky Charbonneau that. The state truck came up and my wife was washing the window and he knocked the tree down and like tore our wiring down and we had power at 8 o'clock. That night. If it had been under the utility underground. it wouldn't have happened.
Well,
And I lost the under,
Tuesday-
and I
That's why
lost,
you should put it underground.
Tuesday. when-
no, I put mine underground on the Blue House and the tenants were gonna move to a motel that night because they didn't have any power. And they have a pretty good argument. It took 4 days
And then
to
Tuesday,
fix it,
Rick,
cause you gotta get a digger.
then on Tuesday, Rick, when the digger digs up the power line. And it breaks and you got live wire sticking out of the ground, that night, everything was running again. So maybe it's just the contractor gets stuff done.
Yeah, but that's really having to know somebody. You know how long, look, Jerry Keith was without power for a week.
Didn't call me,
Were you supposed to call before you dig?
not there.
Well, no, you know what they did?
Not
Chuck,
there.
you know.
They
what
only do to the meter, believe it or not. DigSafe only goes to the meter. From the meter to the house, which the meter was on the pole, DigSafe doesn't, they're not responsible for, and they will not line it out for you.
Oh.
No, they
Yeah.
won't.
Did not know
Other
that.
people think
Now
they're
we
needed.
Yeah, everybody says that. That's the
way that-
biggest thing. Call
the,
DigSafe.
Ad on the radio sounds like the
Yes.
anywhere and everywhere.
Yes,
No.
and,
Before you
and
dig.
municipalities, they will not take any
Sorry.
responsibility for
Let's-
municipalities
let's
or
get
anything.
back to it, guys.
Yeah,
so for subsection 1, just changing the word shall to should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks.
Subsection 2, the applicant shall coordinate subdivision design with the utility companies to ensure, with an E, not an I. To ensure adequate and suitable areas for installation, both for the proposed subdivision and anticipated development on lands adjacent to the subdivision. Subsection 3, utility corridors shall be shared with other utilities and or transportation corridors and be located to minimize site disturbance, the fragmentation of farmland, and any adverse impacts to natural, cultural, or scenic resources and public health. Subsection 4, applicants may also be subject to, does this apply? Is there any utility line ordinance?
no, so I think
No.
you
So
just strike it.
the whole
Yeah.
line. So yeah, subsection 4, we're gonna strike. Subsection H, just below it.
We strike the top sentence too, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of carried over on my copy, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, subsection 4 is totally striked. Subsection H, utility easements of sufficient width shall be provided to serve both the proposed subdivision and existing and anticipated development outside the subdivision. Such easements shall be shown on the final plot. Subsection I, dedication of open space and common land. Subsection 1, it is the intent of this subsection to encourage subdivision design that preserves open space areas and common land for parks, recreation and transportation paths, view shed and historic site protection, and or to preserve farm and forest land and fragile features. I should just note also that
That
this,
we-
some towns do not have, this is one of these things that's like, this, you,
Above and beyond.
yeah, some towns don't do this sort of thing, so I just want to make that as like kind of a, something you're aware of,
Yeah.
that not all subdivision.
Because I got so much so much on this that
Yeah,
I don't,
I
I
thought
think
we,
we should, I think you're talking this whole next paragraph, right?
yeah, that, all of subs, yeah, all of
I mean, the
I,
whole page,
Yeah,
all
I'm
of it.
thinking
yeah.
Boot it.
boot it. I think it's,
I think we pretty much said boot it when we did these boxes, but yeah.
Right, because yeah, some of the stuff that was required, I think, was associated with this specific standard.
And we said was just boot it before.
And so the,
I think Brandon's gonna be facing with some takings if it's like, this is their language, right?
yeah, all this is
Yeah.
just their language.
Yeah.
that
think
we're
it's gonna,
going
I think it's gonna, it's some, but when this hits home, becomes an issue. And it really bothers me that,
State law does expressly have a subsection that says you may have a section in your subdivision regulations that has this. But it's 12 words maybe, you know what I mean? It's like you may have subdivision regulations pertaining to conserving open space and common land, that's it.
I think we've done a pretty
Yeah.
good job of open space of what we have. I think we have a pretty talent with a lot of green
For now,
for now.
so far.
not gonna change.
I'm okay with your suggestion.
Yeah, okay, good. I think Kevin will be. too. I
Okay,
was
so
just
get rid of
looking at
all of
the-
I.
Okay, sounds good. And I want to triple check, there might be one or two other, actually, let me do that really quick. There might be one or two other sections that references this subsection. Is that correct?
So you'll take them out.
And so, yeah, so that one's already struck. Okay. So in waiver authority, so section 701C2 references that section. Why does it reference that?
Well, we said comment circle back on this after review of
Oh,
remaining
there you go.
regulations,
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So there you go.
Because it was gonna get into it a little later.
Right.
yeah.
Here we are. Certifies that a portion of this will remain forever undeveloped. I feel like that's why we wanted to, yeah, I think. This entire subset, I'm just gonna read it aloud in case.
So you're 701, what section?
C2,
C2,
C2.
so
Okay.
C is waiver authority. So I'll read it. When the developer certifies that a portion of the proposed subdivision will forever remain undeveloped. The Development Review Board, ZBA, shall waive the requirements of this article for the lots so designated, provided that all parcels are larger than 10 acres or such parcels are reserved as open space and common land in accordance with section 711I.
can we just remove C2?
Yeah, I think that's probably,
Okay, struck it.
if, yeah, it's
Yeah,
really relating more to that section.
Yeah, and it takes
that-
it back to 711. I think it just,
Exactly.
yeah, I think it
Yeah.
needs to just go.
And I think there might be one or two
The-
other,
Top of page 2, Logan,
Well,
under
But-
section
Before
701
we move past. I'm sorry,
B2.
Taking out C2 before we move past it, isn't another purpose of C2 to alleviate the requirements on the applicant, if they're setting aside land?
Yeah.
Wouldn't we, if they are setting aside land, would we still want to make that easy for them to do?
Well, you can. Don't, people leave land at the historic, not the historical, the nature conservancy all the time. It grows.
so you're saying
I'm
like,
just trying to catch up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
yeah, you're basically saying that, you know, if they,
There's
say
nothing,
you remove the words in accordance with section 711I, what this would be
Yeah.
saying is that if you're a landowner and you choose that you're gonna set aside land to be remain undeveloped, that the ZBA would be able to waive the requirements, specific requirements, because they're setting aside this land.
Right, it's like an incentive. If
Exactly.
they're setting aside land,
Yeah,
we make it a little easier for you. So I like that about this.
yeah,
But
that
We
is,
could just take out the 7-Eleven.
In accordance with section 711I.
Yeah, yeah, but
we struck this one, we're gone, this whole on page 9.
Okay,
That's
the whole
done.
thing.
Yep.
Section
Got that.
711's gone.
So
or 711I, specifically subsection I.
Yeah,
And then,
This one, right here, dedication of open space. and
Up at
common
the
land.
top.
and then everything that, you know, there's subsections within that I, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
There's like
One,
one,
two, all the way down.
Bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that last one is all.
Rob, what makes you think it would be hard for people to
So, did they agree to?
put land? I mean, people do it all the time.
still
I
debating.
know, but this was saying like, if you're
And
gonna
our
do
town
that,
plan, we encourage it too.
so we should leave this in, because it encourages.
It encourages, because it says,
Encourage, you're just saying want it to be recognized.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I'll read it based off of the language. Yeah, so when the developer certifies that a portion of the proposed subdivision will forever remain undeveloped, the ZBA shall waive the requirements of this article for the lots so designated. So for the lots that are
You
undeveloped.
Reduce the work that you have to do
Yeah.
to apply.
Yeah, if you're saying that this lot is gonna be undeveloped perpetually, and you choose
You don't have
that,
to
then
do
you
all
don't have
of
to
it,
do all
all the
this for
things.
that specific lot.
Yeah,
That's
that makes
gonna-
sense. I missed that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
So provided that all parcels to be created are larger than 10 acres in area, or such parcels are reserved as open space or common land.
So are you
You
saying
wanna
it's
take
gotta
that
be
down?
larger than 10?
I want
Yeah.
to take it down to like 5.
No, that's why I was.
3.
Yeah.
We make it even easier.
And this is saying that provided that all parcels that are created, so all. Maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but how I'm reading it and saying all parcels, so all parcels that are created through this subdivision, whether they are the
Oh,
undeveloped.
yeah,
one
yeah.
or not, need to be 10 acres based off of this language, which makes me wonder why all parcels? Why not the parcel that's being so designated?
That's a good point that I didn't. see.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand this provision, you know, and explaining exactly.
You gotta go back to this. Page
That's
2.
what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're on 702?
it's a
Jump back.
good
Okay.
question. I,
There was just a few things. in
the,
there.
yeah, the
Question.
Brandon's tinkered with their,
Oh.
with land use
Okay.
ordinance with a lot of different amendments, so it's
No,
unclear
right
to
here.
me what they did when.
Oh, okay.
So when I worked with them, we did not
Thank you.
touch this like at all. We looked it over, but we didn't see that there was a lot that. They didn't see a lot that they wanted to change ultimately.
I can tell you that was in the 2008 version of Brandon zoning.
That, okay, it's 2008.
And what's your take on it, Jeff, for intent? What's the intent? Just to make it,
I never had to study it. It wasn't a case that came up. So
But I think Logan,
But it,
sorry, go ahead,
I'm
Jeff.
sorry, I was just gonna say, things change over time and we're seeing tremendous change being forced down from the legislature,
Yeah.
so.
Albeit subdivision regulations, like what the actual contents of what's required in subdivision regulations, the legislature, my understanding at least, is they haven't tinkered with that piece. The zoning piece, they've been tinkering with a lot more. The subdivision piece, not as much. It's just that now they're incentivizing towns to adopt these for certain reasons.
The point you just brought up
Mhm.
about would the 10-acre limit apply even to parcels that are being developed,
Mhm.
not only to the ones
Yeah.
being set aside
Yeah.
to be open? I don't think that's the case, because
Okay.
if you read it carefully,
Yeah.
the very end of this section, it says, or such parcels are reserved as open space. or
I see what
common
you're,
land."
yeah,
So I think it's only talking about the ones that you were leaving undeveloped,
okay,
just to address that.
gotcha,
Because all of
yeah,
a sudden
that's a
that
good
threw me
point,
too,
yeah.
but making it be 10 acres,
Or, yeah,
seems-
or,
maybe like more than we need to do. Like if it was a smaller parcel, we might still be okay with that. why does it have to be 10 acres of open land that's being set aside? How do
And-
people feel about that?
Yeah, you could just leave it open-ended, as many acres as you wanted.
Or just
You
striking.
know,
the
somebody
acre-
might wanna do,
Yeah, you
20
can
or-
strike the acreage out. of it.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
that's
could
what I'm
just
thinking,
say-
take the acreage right out of there and just let people.
Yeah,
Do-
how does it read when you do that? Cause I look,
I don't know.
I just-
Why don't you set a minimum instead of a small one?
Developers.
Provided that all parcels to be created are reserved as open space or common land.
There you go, so you just cross that out, are larger than
Provided
10
that
acres.
all parcels to be created.
But is that designation in perpetuity or do the rules change if somebody wants to?
Well, then we're referring to that section 711.
No, we get rid of that.
That section that says will forever remain developed.
I think you could just stop at so designated. When the developer certifies that a portion of the proposed subdivision will forever remain undeveloped, the ZBA shall waive the requirements of this article for the lots so designated, period.
Period. And drop,
Period.
and
Drop
get,
everything else.
okay,
But that is a good point, that then that sort of runs with the land
right,
forever.
Yeah, it's in the deed.
Yeah, well, it's not in the deed though.
But it's in the deed for other people in that subdivision, it should be, right?
It might as well be in the deed, but it's more of a regulation that we're adopting
Yeah,
for
I'm-
our rules.
I own property
Not
that has,
actually in the deed.
that you'll be familiar with, has covenants.
Yeah.
In it, so does it,
What-
I'm just trying to.
But it
think.
would be, it's weird because it's like a covenant that comes from somewhere else that applies to someone's land.
Right,
That
when
might
we-
not be apparent to them if they're like
Right,
buying the
but-
land from someone else.
But everybody that's adjoining us, that's not involved in it, is benefiting from it, is what I'm saying.
When we did Springwood Acres, Act 250
Where is
made
that?
us, it's up by Valancourt.
Okay, yeah, I know.
The
where you're
development out there, Springwood Acres out there, they made us put in a Forever Wild section in there.
Yeah.
You know, there was 14 lots out there and then one section had to be Forever Wild. That's one of the things Act 250 wanted. So
Oh,
it's
okay. That's like
similar,
what we're doing here.
very similar to this,
Yeah,
and
but
it
we-
makes sense. So in that development, there's one section that's, you know, basically everybody can go use and it's
Mhm.
Forever
Yeah,
Wild, you
sure.
know, developing. So they're kind of like the developer is sacrificing
Yeah.
a portion of the property.
But now that
For
I'm
that.
thinking about it, Rob, yeah, we're gonna go from a 1 acre town to a 10 acre town. If we have subdivision regulations. Act 250 doesn't get involved with it till it's 10 acres.
Right.
Right now, it's anything over an acre, Act 250, so maybe that was the reason for the 10 acres. That's what I'm wondering.
Brandon went to be a 10-acre town in their last revision, correct?
Yeah, they did do that.
So what, I think
so-
we need to leave.
Oh,
I think that, I mean, just that, it just makes, from looking at it from that
Right,
perspective,
for
it
the
makes
future.
sense.
Where
Because
we're
that's the
going.
reason we're doing this.
How many acres did they leave wild?
I don't remember, that was
Okay.
35 years ago.
Oh.
And that was in the middle of the subdivision, wasn't it? Not up on the mountain.
sorry, we spent a lot of time on that.
Well, I'm just
Yeah, no, it was,
wondering.
it was down the
Leave it.
golf course.
Just leave it.
Springwood
Just get rid of
Acres
in
was on
accordance
the-
with section 710, 711I.
So just
Yeah,
removing,
take out that, yeah.
just the ending.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where
with-
the
yes.
the
Okay.
Forever
Yep.
Wild. was down
Okay,
the
so
golf
now
course.
we'll erase it.
Did 711I appear anywhere else in other?
One other
Places.
section, which I already looked it over, and I'll just point it out, but I think we can just strike the sentence.
But isn't
um,
it up on the top of page 2?
But it
That-
says 711, but it's not just I, it's all of 711, so we want to keep that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
I already reviewed that in my head.
all right.
Where do you see
The other one is in section 711. B, the
No,
last
go back.
sentence of 711B, it shows up, and we could just strike that whole sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah, in determining the allowable maximum lot coverage of a proposed subdivision, the acreage of any section 711I dedicated land shall be included in the density calculation.
take out the
Second
second.
paragraph. Oh, okay. That's your calculation, see it? Yep.
And then the last section is section 712. Adoption of certification by independent experts. The ZBA, not Development Review Board, may accept the certification of independent professional experts as presumptive that the subdivision as proposed shall meet the criteria of specific sections of what are they referring to here? Where's this article I'm referring to?
The Brandon thing?
Mhm.
That is a Brandon thing. I can get it in a second. Administrative, what is the number? Oh, Article IV or
VI.
VI.
Oh, it's the whole, it's fun.
What's the name of that article?
Yeah, oh, it's their performance and development standards.
Do we have that, Rick? In Pittsburgh?
I'm sorry,
No,
Performance and development standard?
no, we do have. Sometimes we
Like
have
general regs?
post bonds. You know, to make sure, or to close the site, if it's gotta be reclaimed like the gravel pit, we've had those.
could we just strike Article VI and just say section 711 of this article?
Once we have other standards like what Rick is sort of referring to that we should incorporate there.
Well, we would incorporate it into our, that would be part of our conditional use here, you know, that criteria would.
So it's okay to just take that article out then? And we'll be covered?
Let me think for a minute. Or two.
Yeah, wanna just look over the zoning as well.
We could also circle back to it after we go through zoning and see what we're changing too,
Mhm.
because we know that we have some zoning changes that need to be made because of law changes and.
The bond is section 1004.
So in terms of Article 5, which is the conditional use, there really isn't a separate section that's identified as performance standards. That's what Rob's question is. Certainly not to the common type of performance standards you see in updated.
Are you talking about Brandon Article 5?
I'm talking about Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Which is conditional
Which is
use.
conditional use. So the whole idea behind setting conditions is that there's standards that can be defended in case of an appeal. So we made these conditions because here are our standards that our minimum standards for an approval.
Our 104 bond, the applicant may be required to provide a suitable performance bond or other form of security to the town to secure compliance with any conditions. I mean, you can have all the regulations and the conditions. You can't, you know,
Like the monetary mechanism.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
What was the section on that? Sorry.
Section is
Article
that?
5.
1004, section
Oh, there you
1004
go.
bond.
Bond.
But it's in Article 5.
Article 5 is conditional use.
It's in Article 10. Site plan approval.
So should we say Article 10? Pittsburgh zoning Article 10,
I think that covers it for what we just discussed.
and then Section 711, of course.
Yeah, and then, yeah, because Article
So-
10 is also everything in site plan review and.
I'd say like zoning regulations, Article 10, just to be clear,
Yep.
Section 104 for bond,
which is in Article 10.
Article 10.
Is there anything else in Article 10?
I'm looking.
Oh,
We've got site plan review considerations.
Which is where a couple things show up.
I'd just say Article 10.
Yeah, because you know what, the third one down, D, is simple subdivision parceling, what we have now, subdivision, so probably we can, when we get to that point in the zoning. We'll rewrite that somewhat.
Well, it's already in your proposed subdivision.
Right, I understand, but we'll have to either take it out or inflate or whatever, or blend or whatever, we'll decide that when we get to that point.
So you do want this to still incorporate Article 10?
What the board wants.
I would think so, because it covers
Yeah.
the bond language you were talking about.
I think it's worth putting it in there, I think.
I'll reread the sentence with that in it. The ZBA may accept the certification of independent professional experts as presumptive that the subdivision as proposed shall meet the criteria of Article X10 or Section 711 of the Pittsburgh zoning regulations, provided that the certification relates to matters within their areas of specialization and that the expert has no personal interest in the project. Such experts may include local and state officials or experts retained by the town or the developer.
The only problem that I have with this, from past experience, is what are you gonna take the word of an expert or a member of the public that's an adjoining landowner? That's
Well, it
tough.
says you may.
You
So
may, I
can
know.
Decide in the moment.
I
what
realize
you
that,
think.
but if you're preparing a case to go to court. You're probably gonna bring experts in, right? I'm just saying that I think a lot of times. It's hard. Because the people that are adjoining, they don't have the resources to have their own experts. And for a court. Or a judge to. Look beyond an expert over, look beyond. An adjoining land, look beyond an expert to the adjoining landowner's position, I don't see that happening. I think whoever's got, what I'm trying to say is, I think whoever's got the best experts here, it's gonna come down to a battle of the experts, not.
Sure, but this is talking about like a little town decision.
Well,
made
no,
by
it's
the
not,
board.
it's our subdivision.
It's just saying that the
It's-
board could decide to side with the expert.
But what
comes
if you
in.
appeal this a lot?
Well, right,
Then it goes up to the court, this is what the court's gonna look at, it's gonna look at
but
the
that's,
regulation.
that's the court's problem at that point.
Well, no, I think it could be the adjoining landowner's problem if it's contested. If you've got an expert that says there isn't gonna be an impact, and the other person that's the adjoining landowner says is, they can't afford to hire an expert. It makes it I think it's coming down to who has the best experts. On the
Yeah,
money.
In
What-
court,
So that's it.
they still won't have an expert. The adjoining landowners, someone will and someone won't, here and there. When we get appealed. Yeah, it's a problem,
Yeah.
but we
Okay,
can't solve that problem.
I just don't want to exacerbate it.
What do you think that we?
I don't,
we
I just,
shouldn't
Well, I think a
have the
developer
ability- we
might
shouldn't
appeal
have the
it
ability?
and then bring in the experts. So we're still right back to the same
Yeah.
scenario where the
Yeah.
money is gonna buy an expert. You know, when they do appeal it, they're gonna hire an expert to.
so if it's already known, why do we put it in there? But are the
Because this
people
gives
that,
us the ability to, if there's an expert and the adjoining landowners don't care,
Mhm.
we can rubber stamp it. We don't have to. do
okay,
a
I
whole lot
like,
of
I
things
like
we'd
that,
otherwise
I
have to
like
do.
that. You're sitting through
But-
hours and hours
But
of,
if there's adjoining landowners who disagree with the expert, we could decide to side with them instead of the expert. Gives us the ability to do either. Gives us more choices and the possibility of doing things more efficiently.
just speaking from experience.
I
have
know
to be-
you're in
I-
court a lot, Rick.
No, I
I
have
know
to,
you
I
know
have,
about
no,
experts.
I have to be careful. I've seen some things that have been done. We relied on experts. I defy anybody that's towing a trailer. To make that turn on the Plains Road that was changed
Oh, I
for
know.
a certain entity without having that damn left wheel go over the yellow line. I slammed the curb the other day trying to do it. Because there was a guy that was over that. And that was all designed and approved by V-Trans. And Chuck, have you tried it?
Yeah,
Can you make a turn without going over that yellow line?
no,
So my point is, expert what?
but I just go over the yellow.
I know, but the issue is, it's
Yeah.
wrong. And there's nothing in place to correct it.
Right.
It's
But
not
this-
safe.
This wouldn't have changed that.
Well, we relied on the expert testimony.
The problem is the experts are not really
It's a lot.
experts.
We're not experts. We're supposed to, we're making this decision, right? But we're not experts. We're gonna listen to the
Okay,
experts.
write it that says, we will not listen to any expert.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know.
I take it for whatever it's worth. I mean, like you said, it's a hell of a lot easier to blame it on the experts. We
I
had,
think we're done.
yeah.
Yeah, the one other
Oh, sure.
piece.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was- I've just
There was
been,
that-
I've
that
been
few
looking
pages.
through this just to triple check,
There
is
was a
that
few of them that we did.
there were
going
these
back.
like circle back,
And I
when
think-
we had started.
I think a lot of them we're not gonna be able to circle back to until after we go through the zoning regs, because it's gonna be based on the changes in the zoning that we have to do
Gotcha.
for state. I think that's why we said circle back.
Okay.
Anything you think doesn't fall into that category, Logan, that you wanted to cover while we're here?
No, I'm triple.
If I glanced through
okay.
them, and some of them are definitely.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so there were two that I'm seeing. One was in section 701. B2. I'll give everyone a moment to flip there. Section 701B2. Subdivision applications that may be handled by the zoning administrator shall not be subject to the provisions of, and then all these numbers are referencing this document.
And that goes back to B1, which says which ones the zoning administrator can do by themselves.
Exactly.
706, we hacked entirely, so that could be taken out of that
Yeah, good point.
B2.
I feel like we could address that one without needing the zoning first, the one that Logan just identified.
It's all relating to this document here that we just went over.
So B1 is about sort of minor proposed subdivisions where the zoning administrator can act alone.
Yeah. And that,
We currently refer to it as simple parsing, right, Jeff?
Okay, so the definitions are different from what Brandon's version or that version is versus what we have. What we have is under site plan, and under site plan, you have a provision where the zoning administrator can do one subdivision off the source parcel per year in perpetuity. And then the other one that's in that same section, it provides the zoning administrator with the authority to address boundary line adjustments. So if you're following the Brandon model, boundary line adjustments are referred to early in the article. And they're not considered subdivisions under state law. They don't follow the same requirements even for recording a map. But they're not considered subdivisions. So just to clarify, how did you left the old language in and you put it in this language, or did the old language from the current zoning get?
I don't
pulled
know.
out?
That's what I think where we're
yeah,
at.
so when we got to the section 701B1. The zoning administrator shall have the authority to make a decision on a subdivision proposal. And then that was where we had inserted the simple subdivision as that barometer, so replacing Brandon's language. So the zoning administrator shall have the authority to make a decision on a subdivision proposal where one lot per year per owner with no ownership restrictions that results in a total of 2 conforming parcels.
Is that in red?
Mhm.
That's why I'm having a hard time reading it, because I don't have it.
Right.
Okay,
That's
now I just
because we
figured
have
that out.
to
after sitting here.
Yeah.
So we put it in there.
We did put it
Yeah,
in
Rick
there.
did that, yeah.
So the
But
one
then
question,
B2,
Now, you just said that's good. You like this language we have,
I
Jeff?
haven't read thoroughly through it, but
Okay.
yeah, I like the fact that it doesn't be a conflict. You took it out of, if you took it out of the original.
I mean, B2 unties the zoning administrator's hands
I
to
actually-
be able to do B1.
Yeah, it's pretty generous.
Why were we
in my
circling
opinion.
back
Yeah,
to B2?
is making sure that, for example, like 706, we ended up striking that entire section.
We were just trying to make sure
So we
whatever.
just wanna
was
make sure
struck
that all these
after.
numbers.
So we
are-
take it out of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So 702 is basically saying that, the ZA doesn't have to worry about phase developments. 704 is saying that they don't have to worry about the meeting schedule. That's what section 704 is relating to, because
Right.
they're dealing with the ZA. Section 705 is subdivision application contents.
Right, so these minor proposals don't have to go through this process.
Yeah, you don't have to have.
Jeff gets to-
Right.
requirement.
Yeah.
Jeff gets to
Yeah.
decide because they're so like minor or whatever.
Well, they still need to have a survey. So at some point in time, they need to come with a plot plan that can be approved by the zoning
Where does
administrator.
it say that they have to have the survey? Is that part of,
If you go
Yeah,
into
let's check.
if you're going into the Brandon zoning.
that's in 705, which is no longer.
Which would be the one that would be waived. I feel like we'd have
That's
to add a
state law.
sentence right there.
It's state law that you have to have a survey.
Then we need to add something.
And actually, here's what, here's the difference between you folks writing the rules and this guy having to deal with them on a daily basis, okay? So on a daily basis, when someone comes in, even if it isn't the language, I'm going to tell this applicant, but here's the game, you can come in with a pencil drawing on paper. There's no requirement to be accurate or reliable or have a survey involved, but at some point in time, you're gonna have to record a Mylar, so start with a paper version of the Mylar. Get your approved permit and then order your final Mylar for recording.
Which is what we
That's
said.
what we talked.
That's what we said at the last meeting.
We went through this. If you look, hold it, Jeff. If you look
Yeah, we
at
went
page
through
4. It says project boundaries and property lines surveyed,
What section are you?
705.
It's,
Which is
but
the one that-
it's these, it's
It's
these blocks.
little
where
blocks
it's
that
pa-
we-
I've got page 4. You look down on the bottom of your,
Yeah.
It's on my page 4 too.
okay, it's like where it says project boundaries and property lines,
Survey.
survey. And Jeff, the thing that you said was. Good grief. Boundary line adjustments. I don't see anything in here about boundary line adjustments, so would we need, I think we need to include that.
In the original Brandon version, they addressed boundary line adjustments early in the hours.
Well, we didn't have that in
Into
here.
this, I don't know.
Right, okay, so that's what we need
Where-
to address at some
Yeah,
point.
definitely want to.
Where are boundary line adjustments?
They're not in here.
Well, that's
Right.
because they're not, are they considered a subdivision?
No, they're legally
No, they're
not.
not.
subdivision.
They're legally
Okay.
not subdivisions, but we're not mentioning them here. And if we have simple parceling now, so I'm just trying to figure out, maybe when we get into here, we'll circle back.
I see. So yeah, I'm now finding it.
You
I'm
got
looking
that?
at Brandon's zone, like Brandon's
Yeah.
is not in Brandon's subdivision article, which is why it's not in the
No,
document
it's
you
in the
folks
article
have.
Itself, yeah,
It
the
is-
zoning itself.
It's in
Yeah,
the zoning.
it's its own separate section in
Article
Brandon
2 or
zoning.
Okay, but I don't know that we have boundary line adjustment in our. I
You
didn't-
do.
We
It's-
do.
It's on
What
page
page?
30.
Okay, but I'm getting
Article
tired.
10, section of 10.10.1001.
Yep,
Paragraph C.
yep. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Right. So we just leave it in our regulation like Brandon
You
did.
could do that.
Right,
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think you have to,
Why
Yeah.
tinker it?
so back to B2 though,
yeah,
we're saying those people don't have to comply with 705.
yeah.
so
yeah.
what if we said with the exception of the plan
Third.
plat mapping
Because
requirements,
Jeff, you
which
said it was.
would be all of.
Law to have a survey under those circumstances.
Yeah, well, you know better than I do,
I
Counselor,
don't
that
know
if you're
that.
trying to transfer a document, and have it recorded, and
Yeah,
it
they're
referred
recording
to,
requirements.
if it refers to meets and bounds or a survey, the survey has to be recorded.
So could we just say, all these sections are waived, but still must comply with Vermont law?
Yeah.
And then you would know that, and you'd be able to tell them that, and be like,
Part of this whole process is when people read this, they want to be informed of what they're getting into, so I think it's a good solution.
is everyone like that?
Is adding a sentence that follows that just says, however, at minimum, an applicant shall comply with all applicable state laws.
Yes.
So basically, can't go wrong saying that.
That is true.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I know if you look at the maps, our maps for parcels in this town,
Tax maps on it?
well, the tax map.
Mhm.
Times they're not, sometimes the surveys weren't recorded.
It's very common every time.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it was more of a, I
So
gotta
you're
tell you,
saying now you have to have it
you
recorded?
know, yeah,
I'm just trying to think, get that.
I've been dealing with land most of my professional life, and I will tell you, the minority of property percentage wise have surveys on file. There's a lot of them, you can tell they have had surveys in the
Well, it says
past.
AS right on the map.
Well, that's the only one,
As
those are the only ones that are on public record.
Okay.
But, you know, whenever you see a piece of property and you look at a deed and it's got a fraction of a fraction of a foot referenced in the deed, you know, the surveyor did that. So if you got meets and bounds in a deed description, and it has bearings and distances to minutes,
Yeah.
or minutes and seconds, and distances to tenths or hundredths of a foot, nobody can measure to that. It's a surveyor that wrote that up. And the survey may not be in the public record, but the description was done from a survey.
Okay. So, okay, but I thought you were inferring that anybody who does the survey, but that's just for a subdivision, that it has to be,
Yes,
Recorded.
it's moving forward from about 2020,
okay, gotcha,
23. I
All
think,
right.
yeah.
okay, good to know.
So, and, yeah, section, I'm gonna triple check, section 708 is not on that list, right?
It is not.
Okay.
No,
Cause that is the section that pertains to recording, and all subdivisions are required to meet those recording requirements, which is basically just restating state statute.
Did you copy the branded version verbatim? Because
We literally, yeah, we're literally
Okay,
just
so-
took that as
so-
the, yeah,
Okay,
So you're
so-
referring to 4464 and 4463 and 24, right?
yeah, 4463 is,
So that language requires that the zoning administrator or the development review board review the Mylar prior to recording, and they have a sign of the paragraph. They have statutory, they have
Yep.
prescribed language that needed to be acted in that.
Yep.
I think Brandon, originally had it go to DRB. Well, that means you gotta have a DRB hearing. And you gotta, you know, if you got the map and the lady's there with her $45 to 25 bucks to record it. We're not gonna have a 3-month DRB thing, so I recommend the zoning administrator review it, sign off on it, but it's your choice. Or you don't have to have that language, you can just write it if you want, but.
Yeah, I'm looking at state statute. It does allow for the. Just triple checking I'm reading this
Yeah,
right before I
it's
say
it's
this.
an option.
Yeah, it does allow for an administrative officer or the appropriate municipal panel, which would be
The zoning board.
exactly, yeah.
Right, so B2, we're now good on. We circled that, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there another one you thought we could?
The other one I think might be, it's essentially, it's kind of, I'd say squishy language. It's when you look at the.
Where are you?
Yeah, if you look at section 705, which is the one with all these tables,
Mhm.
the second table.
The location of fragile features and natural
exactly.
cultural
Yeah.
resources as identified in the Pittsburgh Town Plan.
Including wetlands, floodplains, and so some of these resources were like. Somewhat unclear of, you know, what exactly are we talking about, I think was part of the. Discussion of like, how do we clarify so it's clear what resources we are talking about and not, so I think an example was. Like steep slopes, at what point is it steep, at
You know,
what
what's
point
the
is it?
definition of steep, right?
Exactly, so that was something that we're gonna circle back on, like, what exactly are these features and clarifying exactly what the terminology is.
Does it have to be in there?
Hmm.
I think you might run into some opposition. I know we had in the past on wildlife and habitat. Yeah.
Oh, that came up last night
Yeah, it's,
because Logan was here with the 2026 plan from Regional Planning Commission.
Yeah, that was one of the inputs in the state law methodology thing.
'cause we had wildlife corridors
your
when
tier
we did
two-
our last
your tier
plan,
two
we had a
language,
stand up down there at Rutland Regional. Passed by one vote, we only needed one, we originally passed by 2. But when they did an actual hands-on count, someone changed their vote.
Yeah, so essentially,
The reason that we were allowed to continue or to take it out is because we had the upland conservation districts. Which are pretty, you know, lot larger content, you know, once you start getting up top of. Oh, God, what's the name, Sagmon Road, you know, all those areas.
But I think we were revising the town plan, so we wanted to loop back to this once we did the zoning and the town plan modification.
Yeah.
What we wanted to change in here once we reviewed both of those documents.
so what I'm gonna do is just.
I
I'm
think
gonna-
it's why,
Wait, then.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
gonna
that's
keep
why
the
we said-
comment and I'll put a highlight on it so we don't lose it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that it's clear that.
So
it's,
that's the only one that we had to circle back on?
Yeah, the other one, we were able to decide because it was
Okay.
related to that 7-Eleven Yeah. that
So,
we- that
so
struck.
this is gonna be highlighted and for later discussion, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yep, and I have also made a note that I'm gonna go ahead before I send this, that one, I'm gonna make sure. That all the numbering is right, so this is 700s.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, was that this was gonna be an appendix or an addendum? And so typically appendixes or addendums, how I've seen them, is it would just start at 100, because it's its own appendix or addendum. So I'll renumber everything so that 7s are 1s, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then the second thing I'm gonna double check is that ensuring that any reference of a DRB or planning commission is changed to the ZBA. And then third, I'm gonna make sure that any he or she is replaced with they or the entity, the applicant, the ZA, et cetera. Yep. So that's my to-do list before I send this language to you.
Wait a minute, can I ask a question?
Yep.
So I know you got a deadline, and I know it's focused on this topic, but there's some pretty big holes in the zoning that haven't been fixed yet, the one being. Structures under 150 square feet, and whether or not the structures and whether or not they have to be. Conforming to setbacks and so on, remember that whole. Deal over on Whipple Hollow Road. About 3 years ago, the neighbor contested a small shed. And then the small shed was under 150 square feet and cover looked at the rules and it says in our definitions, 150 square feet is not a structure. So as not a structure, it doesn't need a permit and it doesn't need to conform to setbacks, but that's not clearly, that's still in 2 or 3 places in the zoning and it's not clear.
So they don't have to be,
The other bane to my existence is shipping containers. 20-foot shipping containers are 160 square feet. So my request is either move the threshold to 160 square feet and everybody becomes legitimate. Because every time an attorney asks me to certify that the property is in compliance, well, I don't certify, but I look at what is on a property and I compare it to the rules. And I will say there's a structure that's 150 square foot limit and there's a 160 square foot structure there, no permit. So that screws up their closing until they come get a permit. I don't like doing that. It's a waste of everybody's time and money, but that's the way it is. So I would say fix the container issue at the same time. I got a long list, but those are the 2 most common ones I deal with almost every other day.
That's something we do here.
Yeah, so I
You
think,
break the rules.
yeah.
and I think,
We do the zoning.
yeah, when we do the zoning, we're gonna do that, and I think we're gonna make containers are exempt from any permits, period.
Well, we did that before.
Because we wanna get people's, definition of junk inside something, so it doesn't look as messy. That's the beauty of a container, just so
Yeah, but
everybody
some
understands.
people
Well,
use it as a
structure.
shed, so it won't
That's
get
right.
taxed.
That's
either.
right, that's right, and it's waterproof, it's rodent
Oh, they're
proof,
great.
everything like that, they're great for that, so that's why I think we just make them exempt. You know, if you have a shipping container, then it's exempt from zoning, that's something we'll talk when we get into the zoning, I think we talk about it and make a decision if that's my opinion.
Yeah, and one of the things I had mentioned is anything that you're seeing as like a discrepancy or there's some specific, case study of, this happened and the zoning regulations were unclear, any of that stuff, definitely send that my way, just as, whether it's even just, anything like that,
Well,
so
we're
that
not-
we can.
But we gotta decide as a group.
Exactly, so that, when we have it all ready for the
By
group to
what-
discuss
By
all
what
at once.
deadline? What
We
kind
got
of
a
deadline?
year. We gotta have this done by December 2025.
Yeah. So
Well,
I'd
I'm
say-
asking him for his preparatory.
I would say the earlier the better in terms of being able to get things. I acknowledging, right, people are busy, capacity, things like that. So ultimately that everyone can see it and everyone can review it, and so that everyone has the time to be able to have an understanding and discuss.
I think he asked you, what's a good time for you?
The question is,
Yeah, yeah.
my question was basically, is the
Yeah.
window still?
The window is still open, it's closing shortly, so.
Get it done.
That was sort of why I was saying sooner rather than later, so that you can.
In
use
the
the
next
window.
couple weeks, how's that?
Yeah.
June 4th.
Well, you gotta be careful here, cause if we're coming into some summertime here about vacation, right? We're gonna have special meetings you're talking. I don't know where I'm at with that.
You're
So-
saying in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, you're,
For people to, like, we had talked about it last meeting, that everybody was supposed to give Logan our ideas for changes for zoning. I don't believe anybody's done that yet,
No.
so if we get them,
Or if it's
into
even-
him.
Or if it's even just knowing like, this section was unclear, there needs to be a discussion on what exactly, how is this gonna be clarified, because it's been unclear, given XYZ case study of, specific permit situation.
Go ahead, Chuck.
So, okay, I don't mean to back up here, but I'm hearing December and you're telling us in 2 weeks.
No, I'm
So is
saying
it
if-
December or 2 weeks?
no,
I'm
no, no,
confused.
I'm saying 2 weeks for people to, and I just picked that randomly, it can be some other date, for people to get Logan the
Right, why can't we
sections
do it
that
our
you need.
next
no,
meeting?
no. It's gotta be done as a board. We
Yeah,
gotta
at
come
our
in, we
next
gotta
meeting.
go through, right, at our next meeting, we gotta go through it. I think my interpretation was to read through it, so we're familiar with the zoning, cause we're doing this and we get this
Mhm.
done. Our next meeting's gonna be in June, which I'm sure I can make that meeting. I'm a little bit concerned about everybody the rest of the summer. So,
So for Logan's adoption process, and it's due in December 31st, it has to back off 2 months, right? So your outside deadline is October, we'll say October 1.
but we're gonna be amending this, correct? So we're gonna have to have a hearing, public hearing.
Yep, and that's the process Jeff is referring to.
But we
is
gotta have that
the-
before December, Logan?
Yeah, the amendment has to be amended
Right,
by
and,
that date.
but we're
Um,
doing two things. We're gonna incorporate this into the,
Yep, and that would
zoning,
be,
is that
that
what
would
we
be,
decided?
that would be all under one.
Right.
It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be a standalone document. It's gonna be part of our zoning.
Right.
It'd be,
It's
yeah,
the
it'd be,
addendum.
it'd be an addendum or an appendix.
All right, just because that was the way we
Yeah.
did the plan.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're good on
You
that.
can, and I, just so everyone's clear, you can legally choose to make it a separate document. You can also choose to make it an appendix or an addendum, or
Right.
you could, like Brandon, choose to make it an article.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's ultimately a choice. But in terms of, implementing, doing it all at once is gonna be all at once.
well, Chuck and I and Kevin have done it. Donna, were you in on the
No.
zoning then?
No.
So we're gonna have, Rob is new. But he's up to speed on the zoning.
But we need to have an alternate too. We should get our alternate in place.
But we also have to find out if Gordon wants to
Talked
be
about
moved
that.
up to a regular or not.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, because he's the next one to go.
I think it's doable. I think it's doable for us
I
to go
did
through
a
the
couple
zoning.
months
It's not gonna be that hard.
So what is it we need to do next?
Just
Re-up
same
on the
thing we
zoning?
just did to this.
With
Do with
the-
our zone.
Zoning. We're just gonna go through the zoning and pick it apart and change it and then get any changes that we want.
Either select, talk to select.
over here so that
we
he
can
can put it
recommend
in.
it, but we can't appoint.
Are you coming to our next meeting, Logan?
Yes, yeah.
You are.
Well,
Yeah.
we've done that.
Do you wanna do what you're doing
And
now
we'll
with
say
our
that
zoning?
We, as
It's
a
like,
group,
you read like every word of this.
Yeah,
We've
I
done both ways.
did,
go to the select board.
I did.
We probably wanna
Yeah.
identify changes.
Yeah,
So
and so
that-
my,
as a group,
I did a review
Well,
as it
we can do
relates
that
to
before
these
we
new
close the
state
meeting.
laws.
Which is
And
what-
then I was also gonna do a review relating to just all state law pertaining to, there's
You're
a whole
still doing that?
chapter.
That's this.
Um,
He already sent it to us.
And so
Yeah,
that,
okay,
that
got it.
pertains to the newer state laws, but then once we were getting closer to actually having it finalized, I wanted to do like a more, like, all the state laws, not just these newer state laws, just to make sure that all the boxes are checked, even the ones that were,
Okay,
in case anything's been missed, so that we make sure that everything's up to date, up to snuff. But that is specific to the newer laws.
well, what should I do and when should I do it?
I think everybody should go through the zoning.
Okay.
And if you
Mark it up.
find anything that you need to mark up that you think
By next meeting.
meeting,
Yep.
By
Go through
next
the zoning.
meeting,
whatever,
Yeah.
go through it, and then we'll try to go through speed it up a little bit, but not make you read every
Well, and then there's,
document. you know
yeah,
what I
exactly,
mean?
and there might be, it might be everyone reads and then we're like, okay, section 102, and anyone have any suggestions or
Yes,
comments?
yes.
No, okay, we move on to section 103, anyone? No.
And kinda,
Okay.
and I think we can do that in like
Alright.
2 to 3
Are you
meetings.
gonna
be
come
done
to our
with it.
next meeting?
Yep, yeah, and just to clarify, it's what is this, the fourth?
Fourth Thursday.
Of course he's gonna, he's having
We
fun.
just have to
with us.
flip
Why
that
would he fun?
calendar. Rob, if you can flip the calendar.
We'll be in Kansas.
Wait a minute,
Thursday.
just that week,
Flip it again. It's okay. Keep flipping.
or are you going on a full-time vacation
No,
and then
It'd be June
jumping down to
26th.
Florida?
We leave the 18th of the 28th, so.
Are we still doing, I can make that date, I just wanna confirm, are we still doing 6:30?
Yes, it's gonna be 6:30.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Or you're gonna be on your phone on Zoom.
Yeah, who changed that, by the way?
We changed it last meeting.
It must have been 2 meetings ago.
It was.
Yeah, 2 meetings ago.
Well, we got a lot done though, Chuck.
Oh, I'm good with
And
it.
you, and we had you in the hot seat. You even got into a different chair.
all right, so we are good on the 24th, to sit down and go
Well,
through
that was the
26.
discussions we were having. Can you Zoom?
26.
You're back to 26?
No,
Well,
no.
I would
Hold on.
expect it as in.
When are you back?
Oh, I'm not
So,
back till the 28th. So I'm out.
She's
You're
gone.
June 26th.
Okay, Logan, you can come, right?
Yep, let's triple check, I put that in the right date, yep, yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question, Logan. Can you take the town zoning and put it into a PDF file?
Mhm.
And as we go through it, make your changes as we're going and highlight it in red?
Yep, yeah,
It'd be a word, but
yeah,
yeah.
as opposed to the track changes, or same thing.
Oh, you put it
Yeah.
in Word, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Track changes. That's what.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
work.
that's what I would do, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So then we
Oh,
can see what it
yeah.
was and the
And
changes
what we
we made,
changed it
because that's the
to.
way we did it.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
with
that
the
makes,
subdivision regulations, like as we were going through everything and I was saying, oh, ZBA, I was doing exactly that in real time.
I'm gonna have to
So,
zoom
yeah.
that one, but yeah.
You can Zoom it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
Yeah, it
so
might be on the road.
you're
Yeah.
done for the
I'm-
next meeting?
I'm
On the
not
road.
here. I'm in
do that.
Kansas.
Okay,
I can type up the minutes if
If
you need
you
me to.
want me to do July, I mean, like I said, I can do yours. I
We'll let you go for June, no problem.
Yeah,
They gave
but
up.
that's it.
Can you do July?
This
can do
Florida is gonna have to cut out too.
Do you want me to remind you at 6:30? Nobody told you.
No.
So Ann will do,
Many times
I
have I
can
done
do
that.
June.
What was your father's name?
Ed?
Ed. My wife asked me, I said, I can't remember. They call him Slugger? Or is that his
No.
brother?
No. Oh, that was probably Donald.
No, it wasn't Donald. What's Gary and Larry's father?
All right, so
Lord.
June 26th, I'll type up the meeting minutes because she's not.
yeah.
I would have thought Don.
Now, what about people living in trailers throughout the year, like in the winter and everything? I mean, the way John and I handled it as listers, we went and assessed it and put it on the books. because
We're gonna have to address that in the
Yeah, I
zoning
mean,
because we do now have people living in campers
Yeah. I
or
mean, it's not
RVs
down
year
here.
round in
Yeah.
town. And I don't believe it's addressed in the zoning currently.
You know what section that would be in zoning?
We had to make a decision.
Okay.
That'd be new.
It's,
Yeah.
we gave them the time, so we gave them, we thought an adequate time, but that time is coming up in June, right, Jeff?
Oh.
We gave him till
you're talking
June, we
about
gave him a-
Specific case, she's talking about.
No,
it
I'm
as-
talking about
talking
in general, in general.
Right, but I'm saying Pittsford is already involved. We may
Only
have,
on that specific case.
right, but it's a case, correct? There's people living
Yeah.
When John and I
in
went and listed
campers,
Yes.
and it came before as a complaint,
that took care of it.
and the zoning board made a decision. I believe we gave them 120 days to rectify it to leave.
The point is that there's nothing that regulates
It's not-
use of
it's
campers in the
dangerous.
town of Pittsburgh.
I understand that,
To do what?
but I'm
Who's gonna
simply,
Camper in the winter in Vermont?
I'm simply
is?
saying we're,
Kids?
that we're gonna
You wanna do
enforce
it
that. They
mine?
don't move.
Mine's winterized.
So you can say whatever
I
that,
can live
that
in
is
mine
the
all year round.
regulation. I don't know
Heats
what
the
it is.
water up and everything.
What was the
We got a guy just
penalty
down the
or
road
the
from us that's
violation?
living
If
up
they
Yeah.
were operating a
campers, like,
campground. We're talking
That's how
about
they can
people
afford.
parking, and you can see it,
Well, the hospital.
You know what,
in
Jeff?
every town, this is a
You
problem.
We
keep
have
the
one
most
up-
hated man in Pittsburgh when you go to enforce it.
So,
It
Logan,
is-
And of
We
course,
have
then
one
you
on
got
West Creek
the
Road.
trailer, which is federal.
No,
You
you're
can
talking
verify.
about Chateau Way.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
That
There's
part's gonna
another
be a.
camper that somebody moved in, has cable and everything running to it, water and everything, but it's a camper,
Yep.
but it's
That you
not.
sent us,
Is it
section 702, page 2, first
Nothing you can
sentence,
do about it.
Mhm.
The trailers registered vehicles and motor vehicles.
it says,
I don't know.
Should be
I haven't
I
driven
can
either
it.
tell you that case.
10, it should be in 10.
So this is on West Creek.
I'm not gonna ever want to go.
702.
They gotta leave.
The 702, could you just say it one more time? Sorry.
7,
I know
702,
that, Rick,
page
when I
2,
had my camper,
first sentence
I'm trying to.
Mhm.
should be in tens. Or no, it should be
Oh,
there in tens. should
Instead of
be
in 10.
In 10,
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
and then I found 70 on section 704. Which is page 5. Last one in column is struck. Is not struck? Oh, it says struck and it's not struck.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry. Yeah, I just wanna make sure.
I'm
hearing you
reading my
right.
note, I just
Yeah.
made a quick note, okay. So last one in column is struck, it says struck. But it's not struck.
Are you saying we struck it, you think?
No, on the,
What page are you on, Kevin?
on his marked up copy.
Okay, well, here's page 5 of yours, which one? do you
Page
think?
5, 704, page 5.
What's the actual language? Is it written
It
request?
says
for
struck it, it
modification?
was nah, it's not in here. You know what I'll do?
Yeah.
I'll find it again
Mhm.
and I'll show you. Because it was a question.
Okay.
Because it might have been, I was reading it wrong, or you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You're under section 705?
So 704, page 5.
Well, that's gonna throw you off. 'cause
On his
Oh,
marked
on
up on his.
Okay.
yeah,
That's why I can't, I couldn't.
well, that's another thing, I'm gonna switch over, when you send your
Yeah.
new copy, I'm gonna switch over to
Let's
that,
all
we'll
switch
all
over.
be on the same.
Yeah.
That's a real good
You know what I mean,
point.
that'll make
Yeah.
life a lot
Instead of
easier, 'cause
going-
your copy, I think, is different than mine.
It is, but I
And
can
mine
follow
is
the
different
section.
than the one he sent us, so it
Yeah.
gets a little
Yeah, but
confusing.
mine's like yours,
Yeah, mine's.
and his is, I don't know.
So what, you know what I'll do, if I find it, I'll email it to you
Okay,
with my question.
Yeah.
Then I'm not all over the place.
Okay.
not making any sense.
Yep.
No, you are.
And then, yeah, and I'll make sure that I do those changes to this document that I mentioned before, so that everyone's looking at the same copy with the same numbers and no P's or she's and no DRBs and all that.
Thanks, Logan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hopefully we can move right through the zoning stuff.
Mhm.
Should be pretty,
So getting back to the campers, is that something that we want to put that in our zone?
well, I have,
We definitely need to discuss it.
yeah, we definitely,
And
Definitely needs to be discussed. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I-
one more thing that we get on
Yeah,
that list.
I think those are sort of things too to, flag for discussion, not saying, oh, do this or do
Right.
that, but ultimately just, something to discuss at future
Okay.
meetings. So
I've
in
got a
addition to
list
just, yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So those are the sort of things and, if there's some specific case, I think those are the sort of things that I've found that's like, oh, this popped up and we didn't really know how to address it, or
Okay.
we're reading this and it's unclear, or, oh, yeah, those sort of things. Or like, this provision really hamstrung us and we didn't really want this anymore, and like, should this be in here anymore? Or, oh, we wish there was a provision here. Those are the sort of things I've heard.
Okay,
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
On the state's, 181, where they're referring to a minimum of 5 acres on a 1 acre lot that's served by town water and town sewer. You can't exempt mobile homes, correct?
No,
No, that's federal.
that's federal.
So I just want everybody to think about that
Well,
because.
that's what I was thinking with the trailers.
And-
No, but
and they could-
trailer is not a mobile, there's a distinction.
Yeah,
There's a legal-
definitely.
Yeah, but we also have a criterion so that, and everybody's looking at, it, we also have mobile home parks, it's on page 22 in our zoning. But you-
They call them manufactured homes now, by the way.
Right.
It's politically incorrect.
But this board had an issue years ago when I first went on, I think your aunt was the chairman then, Gene.
Hmm.
And we sent it up for review, and we had an attorney working with us. And there was some language in it that, they said discriminated against it, so we had to take it out, so I'm assuming. There may be, I would like to know, I don't want to retract it, not assume, I want to know, I'm asking now, are mobile homes allowed to be a structure or a building on that 5 acre lot, because I think they would have to be, personally, looking at it.
Rob, do you want to answer that question on a legal one? Okay, I can give you some feedback because I've been.
I'd
asked
like
that
to hear it,
Okay.
if it's
So under
accurate.
state statute, you cannot prohibit manufactured homes from going out of, the municipality cannot prohibit manufactured homes from going into any town, any zone.
Okay,
However, historically, private deed covenants can reserve the right to restrict the type of housing they'll allow in a subdivision. And it's usually the single or two wide manufactured home, what we used to call mobile homes. All right? And there's a question whether or not, and I think it actually saw the language just recently, that 181 had some verbiage that it overrides covenants, private covenants.
that's what I read. So it can't be excluded, but we were talking with Logan, this is my recollection, that there might be some way to articulate, or I don't think that's the right word, but close to. Logan, what did we say, that
Oh,
there were
right.
things that we could do?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you saying like relating to, there are,
Yeah.
ultimately, there are like procedures.
This thing you gave us.
Yeah, essentially that you could, what I had suggested was that some of these concerns you had mentioned. That could be part of the site plan review process, where state statute, and so essentially I'd sent a memo.
Yeah, we've got it here, so that's why I wanted to get
Exactly,
clarification.
yeah, so in that memo, it quotes a specific subsection of state statute, which basically says that, in essence, I just wanna pull it up, but that you.
Safeguard.
Yeah. Here we go. That in reviewing site plans, the appropriate municipal panel, i.e. the planning commission, may impose in accordance with the bylaws. Appropriate conditions and safeguards with respect to, and it lists out specific things. And then it ends with other matters specified in the bylaws. And so other matters specified in the bylaws is saying. That, you know what I mean? Like, it's just saying, like, you just gotta specify what those matters are.
Okay.
And so I tried to take the concerns that I heard from you folks and specify those in the bylaws.
But I'm wondering whether if that is gonna be legal, is that
Mm.
something that we can run by VCL?
Yeah, and
or VLCT?
yeah, and I'm happy to get a second opinion on these sort of things. Yeah, yeah. And that's always a good idea.
Mhm.
Well, this will go up before the housing and development. We gotta send this off to them as well, like the town plan, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't this go to? Our zoning doesn't go to regional though. That's done internally within the town, correct?
No, yeah, the process for the zoning is you have, the planning commission has the public hearing and, you know, there's a whole process of hearing notices and all that sort of stuff. Then the planning commission has the public hearing, passes it on the select board has a public hearing, it's approved by the select board, and then you have to submit that bylaw to the state on a specific forum, and then in that forum, you basically have to show and be like, oh, yeah, we checked off all the boxes, state of Vermont, leave us alone, that's essentially what you're doing. And sorry, but it's true. And that is,
You.
yeah, that is really what they're really doing is they walk through all the sections in state law and they're like, demonstrate how you meet all these subsections in state law. And that's the exact form I actually use when I'm reviewing. Because it's the form you have to submit anyways, so you might as well use it as the form to review the regulations,
Covers
check
our
off all the
butts.
boxes.
Yeah, commuting,
Right.
commuting housing development or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
quite
so
that.
it's that, yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And so they look at that and then, you know, if there are specific. For example, if you have to change the zoning map or something, you have to send the new zoning map to them. And so there are these sort of caveats of certain things you might have to send in addition. But,
So are
yeah.
so we're gonna be doing a readoption, not an amendment to the zoning.
Right,
Yeah,
it's a new adoption.
No,
it,
Cause our zoning is still good. Oh, no, your zoning never expires, I'm sorry.
yeah, it would really be an amendment. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, and the process for an adoption and amendment are very similar. The exception is that you have to produce what's called a report, and there's specific things. We have a template report, so we'll work on the,
Okay.
template, but. You know, ultimately you have to say like, oh, this amendment is in compliance with the town plan, and oh, here are the impacts on, you know, this and that, and that sort of thing. And ultimately, it's a statement of like, what are the implications of this amendment? As seen by the planning commission, and then it's a document where, let's say that through the public hearing process, some provisions changed, you would go and capture that in the report to say, oh, you know, this changed from this public hearing to this public hearing, things like that.
Okay,
So essentially it is to say that it's really the same process if it's an adoption or amendment, it's just a question of if you have this a report or not. Yeah.
So an adoption would be a town like Mount Holly, which doesn't have, or
Yep.
Chittenden, which doesn't have formal zoning. It's their first time, so it's an
Yeah.
adoption.
Yeah.
right, but our
Or if you
last
were-
one that says 219 says adopted March 20th, and I
Yeah.
was thinking one of them we had said amended.
I think it's
The select board adopted it.
I think that you arguably, you know, it's like, you could have a zoning bylaw and like, let's say you deleted a bunch of it and then it's like a new bylaw. And so
Yeah.
like, or you slightly changed it and now it's a new bylaw.
Yeah.
I kind of say when there are these sort of things, like, should it be an adoption? Should it be amendment? I would always say make it an amendment to be safe, because then you're doing the additional requirements for an amendment, which is a report. So there's no, if you're amending it, it's really, you're checking off all the boxes for an adoption and an amendment. Versus if you're just adopting it, you're only checking off the boxes for an adoption. So essentially, just from a legal standpoint, it's safer ultimately.
Okay, because we've had them both
Yeah.
ways, that was the reason for my
Yeah.
question, it'll make it a lot easier for our helper over here that comes up with the
So-
cover pages, so what it's gonna say, amended.
Well, that's what you should say on the cover pages.
I think so too,
Mhm.
so that's why, that was the purpose
Get
of
rid
the
of the
question.
confusion.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely.
Some towns, you know, and maybe this is what Jeff's mentioning, where like the zoning's adopted, say in the 90s, and then there's like 100 amendments underneath, you know what I mean? Like it's being amended every couple years, and so you see a lot of dates underneath that. So different towns ultimately, I think,
Okay,
do that differently.
all right, so you're gonna be here on June?
Yeah.
Chuck,
Far to know.
6:30.
Kevin? Donna?
I'll be on
6:30.
Zoom.
We'll be on Zoom and Zoom,
Thank you.
okay, great.
Try to go through the zoning
6:30.
before that.
I think we'll get through it pretty good, Rob, I think a lot of it's gonna just stay. That's my hope. All right, Nancy, you gonna join us after this? You gotta think about it?
Be very busy this
Yeah,
year.
and then we're gonna jump right onto the town plan after this,
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
yeah.
Yeah, please. Important stuff. It's lengthy though.
Well, my reason for asking is not speaking for everybody, I'm personally thinking that we'd like to recommend you to the board, but I wanna know what you, or if you wanna think of,
You're gonna need, you may need an alternate if you find
That's what she was thinking.
a member.
are you thinking alternate?
Well, that wouldn't be as big a time commitment. would it?
Well, you
don't-
should be here, because like if you were an alternate tonight, you could just step right up and
We have
vote,
to know what's going on.
right? But, I don't know, we've done it both ways, as Ann and I,
Yeah.
well, this last time, we had to go meet with the select board and get interviewed, so that was a new experience for us, but they appointed all of us, so. Anyways, typically, when I went on, or no, not when I went on, I got appointed for running my mouth at town meeting. There was the person that was interested would send a letter to the selectmen. Or as we discussed kind of here, we recommend you say to the town manager over here, we gotta put Nancy Goodrow on the board here. We're not gonna drive to Chittenden or Pittsford Chittenden line, drag you down, but we will call you. As you can see, getting a quorum is necessary. We have to have 4.
Yeah.
To have a meeting.
So-
Is this something you're really interested in, or you don't know yet?
Well, I'm interested in the topic. I'm worried about the time. Yeah.
So do we know, we need to find out if Gordon is gonna step up?
Yeah.
We had that conversation while we were waiting.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Yeah, you
And
can vote on the whole thing.
I told those two they need to go have a conversation with Gordon.
So we're gonna shake him down.
so that's,
yeah, shaking down.
Okay.
I wouldn't be here in June, I don't believe. You said it's 24.
26th.
26.
Yeah, we'll be gone that week,
okay.
So,
Okay.
anyway.
okay. We won't badger you.
Mike-
We're desperate.
Mike Norris.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the
yeah,
animal.
yeah. He couldn't-
No funky spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike was, I don't know what happened. Must be he got whomped.
Not near-
Oh, no, he had plans.
Yeah.
He told me a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been 3 weeks ago.
Um,
He made it to our hearing, but it couldn't make it to the meeting.
That sounds familiar.
Well, we'll get back to you. Which way we're
We'll
gonna
see each other for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we gotta do new business, Kev.
Yes. New business, Ann Reed.
Can we let Logan
Go
go
for
and think?
Oh,
Logan,
yes,
you're
thank
good.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Logan.
You'll be done with Pittsburgh for a day or 2.
Logan, thank you very much. Excellent job, really.
Be in a month.
Yeah, thank you, for
Thank
having
you.
me. Alright, again, and thank you for the little table. for the
You're
meetings.
welcome.
It's a good, it's been set.
And a name tag and everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's very nice. I can say this is the first time it's got me a name tag, so appreciate it.
There's a reason for
Is that
There you
Mr.
go.
Jeff?
It was Jeff.
That Mr.
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
thank
there you
Mr.
go.
Wise.
Thank you, Jeff.
So when you go places, do you usually have to sit in chairs and don't even have a table? to put
I'm
on?
a flexible guy, so
You are, but that's, you got a lot of stuff.
They'll invite him up to forward.
That
Okay.
typically is how it goes, but I'm a flexible guy, so
And I'd like to thank Jeff for setting that
Yeah.
up for him. I think
Yeah,
very
it was nice.
considerate.
yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, have a good night.
Thanks, Logan.
See you later.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
So VLCT on Wednesday, June 11th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. is offering a free training on the Vermont Land Use Review Board overview. Says, join us for an overview by the state coordinator of the Vermont Land Use Review Board, LURB, to learn why the LURB was created and its role in the Act 250 process, major changes to land use planning and regulation brought about by Act 181 of 2024, and status of those changes and the timeline for phased implementation. I may sign up, and then they've been really good this year about sending all of the, like, the video of it. And then that way we could share it, I think, and everyone could see it if you guys are interested. I could probably do it that way.
Good idea.
Have you heard of the LURB? Land Use Review Board? I'm dealing with them right now.
So, on another reminder, March 28th, May 28th, between 9 and 12. VLCT is having its spring zoning forum and training forum, and part of that is usually they talk about what the legislature has made new for planning commissions, for example, in terms of mandated regulations. You can attend remotely, you can drive up to Lake Maury and spend, lunch there for them. The resident, they need to know if you wanna go up there. And they also promised that they would record it and that the meeting will be available recorded at your convenience after
Oh,
a period of time, so, but if you're available. You can participate by Zoom live, on when it's, Wednesday, the 28th starts at 9, ends at noon.
No.
And then if you guys noticed, I'm just gonna point out, Logan was here last night with the RRPC
Hmm.
2026 plan, which if you go to Rutland RPC I think it's .org/plan 2026, it'll be it. This is their draft regional future land use map based on the Act 181 classifications. And we might want to be aware of this and what the potential is when we're doing our zoning regs, especially with Plains Road, because Plains Road's screwing up the ability to expand our growth area,
Why?
because right now this is classified as rural. And by classifying it as rural in our zoning, it supersedes being able to be in the growth area.
Okay,
It's
but
specifically Plains Road.
a majority, what's the majority of it? Like I classify myself as rural, but I have town water and town sewer, but town water and town sewer end here. It's not in all of Plains Road.
Right, but even being able to expand it to like where Pine Woods is as non-rural would allow for that growth, expansion growth. It's something, Logan explained it somewhat last night and I got confused. And I'll get clarification with him, but because of the way our zoning regs have defined Plains Road, even though we have town water and sewer on this road up to Pine Woods, the classification of this road makes it so that they can't expand that area that would negate the Act 250.
My neighbors are not in supporting it. Well, I just told them, your people are gonna have to come to the meetings. This is rural up here. We've got enough traffic on this road. This is me speaking personally, and some of the other neighbors. We don't need any more.
Not lately.
No, that's not true.
A lot of people aren't running this road. Have you
Well-
ever been on a road that rough before in your life that you paved?
We've been on dirt roads that are less rough.
So you're referring.
I say
It's a lot
Braided.
more, it's a lot more bang bang than it ever's been.
Tier 1B,
Yeah. So we'd be more of a tier 1B. I
We
went to
can't-
the training.
we can't be tier 1A because we do not have a DRB.
Yeah, okay.
And we don't have, something with flood regulations,
You have to have river corridors.
River
flood-
corridors.
In your flood regulations.
Okay.
and we don't have those.
Okay.
The only ones really that can qualify for tier 1A, I believe, are Rutland
Rutland
City
City,
and
yeah.
Fairhaven.
Okay.
I think are the only two right now that can qualify for a
In
tier
Rut-
1A
yeah, In Rutland County. That's
in
what
Rutland
they-
County.
yeah.
So
The advantage of is why you wanna be tier 1 or tier B? What's the advantage?
tier 1B, anything in your growth area or your village area would be exempt from Act 250 if it's 10 acres or less.
Which it will be anyways, once we get our subdivision in.
So,
No,
Yes.
it's not per parcel, it's per development. If you wanted to do a housing development and it's on 10 acres or less, and it has municipal sewer and water, then Act 250 is out of the picture.
Right.
Which is huge when you're talking right around
Right.
this area. if
Kendall
you're
Hill and
including
that
Going
area.
up Plains Road and including the El Nicky ownership.
Right, so that's helpful.
And the other thing.
it would
is
be
that-
beneficial. Right now, we're stuck
Right,
because of the way Plains Road is classified. They can't bump that growth area out to go out to Kendall Hill.
So the other thing that's important here, maybe
I
you'll
think.
appreciate.
I just think it's gonna change the whole area. The area is rural, then rural, and
Wait a minute, how does, Plains Road doesn't connect to
because we got town water and sewer.
Kendall? Oh.
No, because of where we're located on a map, our village ends pretty much at Plains Road,
Right.
Route
Okay.
7 intersection.
Okay.
So then they talk about village growth area, like where can your village expand?
Oh.
So if you're talking about Route 7 from pretty much Winning Image to Kendall Hill,
Mhm.
half of that's already covered by water. Some of it's covered by sewer, and the plan is to get water and sewer to Kendall Hill water's already at Pine Woods. Um,
Well, what about extending it south? When Dave Mills was chairman, they talked about extending the village district, designated
So,
village to the south.
they do have it extending south too.
How far? Because they're gonna
To
put sewer
Markowski.
across the bridge,
Okay, so there's got a sleeve for a sewer line over the bridge.
right?
So.
To serve
if you-
Route 3
If you look at
and
this,
Route 7.
if you take a look at this proposal, the north side of
I gotta
Route
go look.
7, which is Markowski's. In that area there, to Bella Vista is in the downtown district.
And we have a few weeks to be able to respond to this and say, this is what we want to be able to do as a town, and this is why. To be able to change the map. There's still like in a 5-week window where we have time to make modifications on our map.
But with
The thing
town
is,
needs
you
a-
have town water
is that
here.
warned and
Town
voted
water.
on, or is it just
So-
who decides to make the change?
My garage.
Anyone can give their input. So like the
That's-
select
that's
board
fair.
for their next agenda on June 4th. They have Rutland Regional Planning Commission 2026 mapping on their agenda, because I have 2 select board members that are very unhappy with this map and the way it's laid out. As far as
They want Plains Road to be.
Well-
No, wildlife corridor,
So I
It's
suspect this one.
rural, blah, blah, blah. And
wildlife corridor.
they are not understanding the difference between rural agricultural and logging and those that are in like land use. So the shades of green, they think are off. They think they should be flipped and that kind of thing. They're also concerned about Plains Road being considered rural in the middle of where we'd like to expand. So they want time to comment on it, get it back to Regional Planning Commission, because this is gonna be part of Regional's map that goes with their plan for the next, I don't know if it's 6 or 8 years, however many years that they're 2032, I think is.
But the select board could make that decision to change the map. Just
It's under,
just
Well,
itself.
They can't by themselves because
I'm sure.
right now our zoning regulations are what's holding up Plains Road from being reclassified. So it has to be like a dual thing. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention. So if anyone wants to come to the select board meeting,
Cause this
On-
will be voted on through regional.
right,
This is regional, this isn't us, this is regional, so the select board can suggest to regional what we want as a town. And then they'll put it on there and then it gets voted on. That's how it's actually done.
so and they're supposed to be sending, I think if you go onto their website and go under their plan 2026, you can actually pull up this map and see it by parcel or whatever. It may take a little while to load. Sometimes it gets pixelated if you scroll down too far. According to some people, I haven't honestly taken the time to look through the entire thing, but we do have a comment period on this map. And changes we'd like to see, but we also have to think about this map when we're looking at the zoning reg.
Just trying to figure out how they can figure there is that many 1-acre lots on Plains Road. To justify it as to be that, I mean. My house is a 1/2 acre.
They're thinking village growth area because there's water and sewer connections. They're not thinking that we're gonna let it infill completely. They're just thinking there is water, there is sewer, there is the capacity for growth. They'd like to have it in the village area, but this is what's holding it
Well,
up.
how's it compatible in character with the area if you put, I put 5 modular homes on. Where the blue house is, and then across the street, their patch has got a meadow, probably, I think there's at least 2 acres in there. Put 10 houses, put 10 modulars in there. What's that gonna do to the area? All these
I just
homes,
don't think that Plains Road is very rural.
But that's what we have
It
it
isn't-
classified
it
as.
isn't now because we've got the town office up here. If you go back, we've been here a long time, and it's, oh no, we're not gonna have a lot of traffic, we've got computers, there's gonna be less, and. We didn't have all the staff that we have today. There was Gordy and Barbara.
Well, we have the least amount of staff right now that we've had.
I know,
replaced
but
where
I'm
they
saying
were, but-
from what it was,
Oh, I know.
and the other thing is the amount of traffic. It's gonna increase the traffic tremendously. This increased the traffic.
I don't know.
I'm
what to
just
tell
throwing,
you.
I'm just throwing it out there.
No, and I'm aware of that. I'm just letting you know that
I appreciate it.
this is
You should probably come to the next.
what
board
some of
meeting.
the,
We said June 4th.
Yep,
Yeah.
those are some of the,
Tell
cons-
neighbors.
yep.
Spend a winter
it's,
with them.
this is some of the concerns with,
Yeah.
you know, yes, we'd like to consider this rural and we can probably do it through some of our zoning regs with, you know, different things like Logan's told us so that we can keep it so that it's not a house upon a house upon a house on this road. But by being able to open it up to a potential growth area, that gives the town leverage to be able to get grants and funding to be able to get the water and sewer to the people that need it.
And we're talking about
Or-
getting grants from somebody that's got a $37 trillion deficit of government. And they gotta raise the debt ceiling in what, 2, 3 months, but you know, the grant, this whole thing is just debt, 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 debt. And I sit back, and we were talking about before this meeting about being in business. We got a debt problem because we spend too much and we're trying to solve it with more debt, and then we jump up to the public trough to get grants, because if we don't, somebody else is gonna. And we just put it, and we're saddling this onto our future generations, and it is, it's terrible. It's disgusting. Gotta wake up.
I don't think, if you think about it though, Rick, like you were saying, putting that many modules over there, I don't think you could sell them right now in the market.
You
know what I mean?
you know that I'm not gonna put 5 in.
No, but if you did, that's what I'm saying is.
But I'm saying, what if I?
Cause you're gonna have $300 to $400 a square foot to build them,
I know.
period.
Yeah.
You know, and that's gonna make the price point so high that's your low income or your just starting out youth are not gonna be able to afford to buy that.
But that's what they're trying, this is their solution to it.
But it doesn't mean that they're gonna do it though.
Well,
That's the
I
difference.
agree, unless all of a sudden it's not working and then they bring more money in to fund it, like 0% down. Or, 2% government loan, whatever. There's a housing crisis in the whole country, but we're Vermont right now.
Right.
And this is what these people are doing. And I just, I've been on it for 40 years, a long time. When I first came on, it was village and all the rest was rural. Then we defined districts so that we could try to attract people. We had the industrial district for Omnia. We made the commercial district. Upland conservation, we put all these districts in, and now the state is coming in and telling us that we have to do this, and it's not a solution. You just said it. They're not gonna build those houses there. But how many people have done something and it didn't work out, and then you got a mess? I mean, we're gonna have,
Kinda like we have now.
we're gonna have, we
mess.
had a zoning, we're looking at the same people that created it. We had a zoning meeting the other night, a hearing. It was on, used to be the turkey restaurant. There's gonna be 9 apartments in there. You know what the smallest square footage is?
Well,
400 feet, 400 square feet.
are the
gonna-
apartments 400 square feet?
That's the smallest one, the smallest one's 400. They're gonna build decks on the back. We approved it. For one person, yeah, I guess it's good, but 400 square feet, that's,
Jesus, a horse would have more.
so, this is
You're right.
It's the size of this room. It fit in this room, 400 square feet.
talking about Jesse Holmes.
Just for the record,
application.
That's
I
not
could
the
live in
record.
that.
A lot of them are like that.
Depends on where I am.
I mean,
Well, and I think
as
it's a
long as
good-
I had
I
a
think-
garage,
I
it
think it's a
was
good thing.
50 by 100.
But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of parking, there's gonna be a lot of,
I mean, that's a good place for it though,
Perfect spot.
to have apartments.
Unless you live across the road. Right?
But it's Route 7, so
Yeah.
there's traffic in and out all day long.
but why can't we just have it be? Why isn't it working? The way we used to, like, you built a house, you bought a house, you got a place, all of us, right? Because of the system. It's not affordable. Why isn't there affordable housing? What's gonna make it affordable? I looked at the stuff that we were doing in here with all the stuff that the developers are gonna do. You think that's gonna make the cost of that land cheaper? With surveyors and experts and. I mean, just look at it.
Well, I mean, I look at what's going on, what happened in Rutland with, what was it called, Forest Park? They pulled all that out, and what's there now is really working, and they did more across the road.
They started a new one this week.
Yeah, that's the one Naylor and Breen is doing. I saw that. It's a steel structure that's going up. Is that more affordable housing?
40 to 50 units, I think.
Okay. I mean, that's affordable.
Yeah, but is the
and it's
state
working.
making it affordable?
Yes.
Well, I'm
Yes.
saying, yeah. I
They're
mean,
Yeah, they're
subsidizing
giving,
it.
they're subsidizing it,
Right.
yes.
Salt City, Forest Park, I remember when they built it,
Section
because I
8.
went to MSJ
Yeah.
down in Forest
right.
Park, okay? They had to tear that all down because they wrecked it.
Well, I know that. I had most
All
of
right.
those kids in school,
Right,
so I
so, yeah,
understand.
you had most
But
of those
what-
kids in school,
What's going on now, though?
but you're going, but the new teachers that are in your position now are gonna be forced with all those units that they're gonna be built, and all those kids are gonna be coming from that. Why weren't those, what's gonna make it change, Don?
The kids are already here, that's not, I
The
mean.
kids are here, they're living in the hotel.
I understand, but there's gonna be more of it if there's more housing, is what I'm saying. There will be more of them. Right now, we need more kids. We don't have enough kids in our school district.
Mhm, mhm.
You know?
Well, right now, the kids that are gonna move to that Forest Park, right now that you have. I don't know, it was 100 and something at one point, living at the old Holiday Inn, which is now Cortina. Those are your kids that are probably gonna move to Forest Park. It'll be better than living in a rat trap hotel room that's,
I agree, but where are they gonna come up out of it?
What do you mean? come up with that?
Well, like you said, I had those kids from that area. I think it's gonna be the same thing. I think it's gonna be the same kids. It's not improving the situation. I think putting them all in these multi-level units is not an answer.
No, because those hotels were not rat traps when they moved in there.
Oh, no, they were. that
Yeah, and what
hotel-
did they look like when they were
That's
done?
the difference, you know what I mean? I
But
think
right
these
now,
new
the
houses
ones
are
that
gonna end up
there,
with
they're keeping
the same.
those. Whoever's in charge, I don't know if it's Rutland Housing Authority, they must
It
go
is.
in and do inspections, just like they do at like the Bardwell House. Because it's definitely not like it used to be, the old Forest Park. I mean, they really keep those up.
I saw a girl with two little kids down by the road, right across from McDonald's. And they were there and they were all up, you could tell they were homeless.
Yeah.
We took them to McDonald's and we bought them. So, I mean, they could, and I said, where are you gonna go? And they were waiting to get a call to see if they could go to the Mission on Park Street.
Yeah.
You know, there was a part of me that wanted to bring them home, but what are they gonna do the next night?
Because where they are now, at least they can walk to where they need to.
No,
be.
they were gone. They were out. They were waiting to get into the shelter.
Right, well, right.
I'm just saying that this is not the solution.
There's a lot of things wrong.
I could easily see a forest park being built right across the road. Over here in that meadow, easily. It's big enough. Gonna go up with it. They've already saying you can't restrict the height.
But we can with
No,
what
we
he gave
can't.
us with
No,
this.
there's a height restriction within the
Yeah.
limits of the town zone.
Right, but we can't stop them from going 4 heights, right, Jeff? Or fours, isn't that what he said?
50
Oh,
feet.
no,
50 feet. It is
yeah,
higher than
it-
our height.
Yeah, the zoning, the height here is 36 feet.
35.
35 feet, so they can go 45 feet, they can go 10 feet, that's their expansion.
So just picture Forest Park over in the meadow is all I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Is that what we want? Is that what the people want? So
I
what do we
think I'd
do?
Go back to what Logan set up for us here, where we can put in conditions.
I don't, that's why I say, can you check that out?
Right,
I don't
right.
think we can do it. Cause that would make, then
But
that
we
would
should
make, it-
do it because it's our.
no, I'm
hazard.
saying I don't think the conditions would be legal conditions. I don't
no,
think-
they are because they're, I believe you're gonna find that.
Well, I'd like to get a legal ruling on it. I really don't believe they are. I don't see how they could be, because then anybody could just condition it so that they couldn't do it.
That's why we sit here. You could go through this process, I think.
But the board's conditions have to be, I think that the state would overturn them. We'll see what happens when we send the regulations. I don't know if we can condition it. I think when I saw that language where it said, shall allow for a minimum of 5.
Well, it says dwelling units, it doesn't necessarily say 5 independent
But
houses.
I know,
So.
But when
but
it's
it
saying,
doesn't say it can't be 5 independent
No, it
houses.
doesn't.
but
that's
the
my-
definition says a minimum of 5 dwellings. Then that means.
Per
if you-
acre.
Per acre, so if you want to develop a piece of, an acre of property, you have to put 5
You
dwellings.
don't
on
have
it.
to put 5 in.
But it says a minimum of
No,
five.
it says a
The
maximum.
regulation has to allow at least 5, your zoning. Right now, you can only put one house on an acre. Okay. I beat everybody to death. Those people, they better come. If they don't, then,
Right.
What I say. Hit them in the
but
wall.
they're only about a 2-minute ride from your house on a bicycle. They all decide,
There you go. Right.
and you are out there remotely removed.
Somebody ought to open a bike shop.
Until our next
Make a-
meeting, we already picked, and
Yeah.
then
I make a
motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.